Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Safe and
like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat.
Hey, I see a name. All right. Sorry for the delay, everyone. We're having some issues with just stuff. As you can see, we're down a few crew members. The captain is, as always, a little late. And we have a Marine who is currently at the doc's office, but will be joining us here in just a bit. And then we are still gathering our ensign, and yeah, that's it. So bear with us here while we get through everything. I'll go ahead and give us a recap. When last we met, and I apologize, last week there was a medical issue that couldn't be avoided, and unfortunately it ended up delaying us, and to the point where I thought it would be best that we go ahead and call out, because that way there would be the expectation we met. Not to mention I needed a lot of rest, and as you can tell, I probably still need some more, but hey, that's it. Last time we met, the captain disappeared. Out of the corner of their eye in the science office in the engineering room, there was an object that can only be seen out of the corner of their eye. And eventually, when they placed their hands upon it, they found an odd orb. And the orb itself seemed to only have object permanency whenever a hand was placed upon it, as though breaking the field that hit it was what allowed you to see it. Upon further investigation, they saw that it had a map, or at least a portion of one. Rolling the orb allowed them to see more and more of a star chart, a map. Using this information against their own, and some pretty good rolls from our navigator, kudos to you, they realized that they had been correcting their course outside of a loop that they were in. Allowing themselves to navigate the course that they were on would actually put them years, hundreds of years ahead of where they would have been normally. Choosing this time not to correct their path, they waited. At the 45-minute mark, where the klaxons would blare and they would wake up, it ticked past. 45 minutes and 1 second. 45 minutes and 2. 45 minutes and 3. Realizing that they had been 46 minutes now. Now 47, now 48. The loop appears to have been broken. As they watch, the captain falls from seemingly out of nowhere. Landing on the bridge of the ship. Hey, our ensign is here.
Our ensign is currently on the ceiling.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was about to say what?
Just role-playing our emotional states.
Yeah, just the turmoil. Utter chaos and turmoil. That is our emotional state. The captain lies upon the bridge of the ship, wearing nothing. No one knows where she was or where she came from. And that's where we're going to begin. The captain is completely catatonic. Her eyes are moving and she's blinking. She draws ragged breath.
Had we gotten her to the med bay last time?
Yeah, I think so. We draped clothing over her.
Yeah, you put clothing over her and took her to the med bay. She lays upon the bed, near catatonic. Nara, you checked her life signs, her vitals, and she's normal. All of her signs are normal. Her heart rate's a bit elevated. But everything else about her seems to be perfectly normal.
And you say that she just appeared out of nowhere?
Well, first she was talking to us over the comms from nowhere. Then she popped up out of nowhere.
Right.
Fixed time, and it's still got weirder.
Fixed time and things only get weirder. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Welcome to the thing you know so little about.
You know, maybe if we had Quentin go and change the flight path again, we'd reboot. It should be okay.
I don't trust them.
We just got out and you're like, all right, back in the
Nice.
simulation.
Look,
Put us
let's
back.
just leave one more time.
You broke it. Put it back.
I'm comfortable in my shell. I would like to return to repeating.
We had a system.
You knew what was going on. You had-
I mean, granted, it's much harder to do science when you aren't going to repeat.
You're a little more careless with things.
My
whenever
kind
you
of
realize-
science.
Whenever you realized it was going to reboot.
Gosh.
I don't even know. I mean, I could put us back on the flight path, but would that even... Would we just all of a sudden wake up in cryopods?
You have no idea.
Well, we haven't restarted. So,
Wait. The invisible ball or whatever?
Uh-huh.
That was near the reactor, right?
Yeah, it was in the engineering bay, right close to the reactor, not exactly on it.
So maybe if we put that... I'm stating this not to say we should do this, but it might have been moving that away from the reactor is what caused us to not reboot. So we should probably check on that.
You can
Go roll it back close to the reactor.
Well, not yet, but just we moved it to make sure it stayed there. So we should check to make sure it's still
we can
there
find it.
at the least.
Well, why don't you go do that, and I guess I can go to the bridge and maybe realign our course?
Definitely check our course.
Yes, that I can do.
Break. Let's do that.
And break.
I will. Hold on, wait. Do I want to splits of two?
Well, I can go to the bridge and just lock the door behind me. I'm not
Okay.
going to touch that orb again. Mm-mm. I
So
say
if I understand you correctly, you want to get the orb back into the engineering bay, and at the same time you're going to try to realign your flight path with your original trajectory as
Well,
opposed to the
no,
trajectory
I'm
that
gonna
you're
go-
on right now.
I'm gonna go double check.
We're just gonna check everything. We're just
I'm
gonna
just
make
gonna
sure
check.
the ball is where we left it, because it's
Yeah.
invisible. So we have to actually go down there.
Okay.
Tanya
Do
is
you
very
remember where
against
you-
the orb on Quentin. Just
It was-
No,
was-
I don't want that.
It was locked in my office. Is what we did.
Okay.
No, for
So
Quentin.
you want to
No.
go back and check to see if it is still locked within your office.
And then, all right, Ensign, you come with me because we're gonna check the colonists. See what's up with them. We just gotta check everything because things are different now. So we just gotta check everything again.
Touch all the things.
Every button must be pressed.
Just running by, raking all the buttons on the elevator. You're that guy. He just runs
Just
his hand down all the
dragging.
buttons on the elevator.
Oh, hey.
Oh, that's why. All right. So the Marine says he is going to do his duty and stay right here by the captain for now. That because I don't feel like
now they're a budding friendship.
Now they're good. One's unconscious, they'll be fine.
well, that and the fact that his job is the safety and security of the crew and the ship. So he says if the captain appeared out of somewhere, he would detain them anyway. So he's gonna wait right here for the captain.
That's a good point. I would agree with detaining me if I showed up naked out of the sky.
True, out of the ceiling, I guess.
Let's not call it detain though. Let's call it quarantine.
Almost every single person has touched
Under
the captain.
observation.
I'm pretty sure at this point.
Under observation.
We're just gonna wait.
All right, so who is going where? What do you guys do? Give me a play-by-play exactly what you're doing.
I'm gonna go to the bridge by myself.
Okay.
Gonna go to my office.
You may.
It's gonna go with him to his office.
Okay, you're going with Nain to his office. Gotcha. All
I
right.
haven't gotten to touch the Andor. Well,
That's right. You haven't touched the orb yet. You haven't been tainted by the orb.
It's okay, you can touch it because I'm not touching it again.
All right. You two make your way down to the office, to the engineering bay. You open your office and reach out to where the orb was whenever you last saw it. Your hand falls on it, and it's still there.
what do I see out of the corner of my eye?
You see him with his hand on an orb or on an object.
Oh.
Just the tip. Just the tip. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
All right.
Just,
As you break the cloaking field on it, it's solid. You can see it now.
It's real.
Made contact with it. You place your finger on it, and you can feel that minute vibration that comes off of it. Kind of, like I said, it doesn't make a sound. You just kind of feel it tremoring up your finger into your hand.
For my office, I want to get on my computer and try and just do I have a way to just scan where we know the orb is and see whatever
Track orders. We need track orders.
Yeah.
Are you looking for some sort of scanning device? Is that what you're looking for?
I'm looking for a no more button to press.
Break it. Go away.
Okay, let me make sure that I understand this. Are you looking for this on an orb, on the orb itself? Or are you looking around your office? What are you looking for?
I'm presumably diddly doing on my computer or grabbing something near my computer. Just that was the assumption. But yes, I want to scan where the orb is.
That is fantastic. However, that's a great idea. However, you are tech level 9. A portable scanner, what the hell is this object device you don't have yet? No one has thought about coming up with something that says, hey, I want to know what this object is. I don't want to use this little handheld thing to scan it, unfortunately. And it aggravates you that they're not closer to Star Trek right now than what they are.
So I guess back to original idea. I'm going to go on my computer and check the readings for the room that we're in. Since it's a small contained space.
Okay,
see if there's anything weird there.
You can. It gives you mostly biosphere kind of readings. So it tells you, latent radiation because of the fact that you are in an area near basically a matter compressor reactor. You read out. It doesn't appear to have any abnormal effect. There's no radiation that seems to be higher than normal or elevated. The oxygenation in the room is balanced, so there's, it's breathable life. It doesn't seem to have anything out of the ordinary. It shows there are two it shows that there are two carbon-based life forms in the room that are, have vital signs. In other words, it's picking up that you two are there.
All right.
All right.
All right, I can't think of anything else to do with the orb right now. Do you have ideas,
Ensign?
Ensign?
It with a mallet.
Have you tried picking it up and just dropping it?
It seems pretty heavy
Crack it like an egg.
in how
Remember whenever you moved it, it was extremely easy to move.
What
moved.
is the
accidentally
gizmo electricians use to check if a wire is live? Tells them how much power is running through the wire.
An ohm meter?
Yeah, do we have something like that?
Yeah.
The thing's vibrating
Easy,
when we
yeah.
touch it. It may have some kind of power source.
Yeah, sure. You absolutely can. Yeah, there's definitely one of those in there. So you grab an ohm meter off of your tool set. They're small, they're handheld. You just take one. Grounding it and then touching that to it. You watch as the needle tells you that it does have some sort of energy off of it. Not enough wattage in there, not enough ohms in there to be any danger, but it does move.
So there's something electrical going on.
Oh yeah, there's some
On the
sort of energy readout in there.
Ensign.
Mhm.
Do you want to try to pick it up and jump and see if while you're jumping, you're invisible?
Okay.
I thought we had already figured that out.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking, did they make people's hands invisible when they touched each other?
It made like her bottom half disappear.
Oh, when she climbed on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fair. Kind of forgot we did that.
That's okay. That's why I was reminding you. I was like,
It's like,
I'm
wait.
pretty sure we already did stuff like
Yeah.
that
The dot
without
climbed
being
on top
grounded
of
on the
orb.
floor.
Yeah, the dot climbed on top of the orb, and it looks
She had
like
a hard time getting herself up there.
her body.
I remember that.
Don't
specifically.
out her physical prowess
Or lack thereof.
or lack thereof. You remember that when she climbed on top of the orb, it made her bottom like disappear.
All right.
How big around is the sphere again?
What I say? It's like 3 foot in diameter.
It wasn't very
You said
big.
5.
Yeah,
For some
like
reason.
between 3 to 5. Yeah, 5 foot in diameter. It's like one of those, balls you sit on for better posture, and to ease, one of those giant balls you sit on like at your desk, and it's supposed to help you with your posture. and your
Exercise
back.
balls?
Not one of the exercise balls, because those I usually think of, but yeah, something like that big. It's that big.
I believe they're called yoga balls. But
Sure.
Exercise.
Yeah, I think the heavy ones are medicine balls.
yeah, the heavy
Yeah,
ones, the ones
they're
that actually
small.
have weight in them are
There's a lot of
medicine
taco
balls.
balls.
But like the big ones that you are actually supposed to sit on, and you're supposed to bounce on them while you're doing work because it's good for your core.
As we reveal our level of familiarity with fitness equipment in this episode.
I'm almost certain you're not supposed to
So many
bounce
balls.
on them while working.
No, okay, maybe not like bounce
you
on them,
stabilize
but you're
your core
supposed
by
to. Yeah.
sitting on them.
Yeah, but it's about the size of one of those.
All right, look, Pelka.
What, whoa?
I used to sit on one. Okay, I absolutely bounced on the damn thing because I am a child.
What, whoa?
Okay.
I think I have one. Should I go get it just for size magic? I do, I swear.
Only
A
if you
banana for scale.
It's somewhere.
All right, so yes, it's the size of one of those.
Dan, get on the other side. We'll see if we can both pick it up.
All right. Let's.
2 boys, more power.
2 boys, 1 orb.
2 boys. Oh.
Anyway, so
Quentin went to the wrong place. No, I'm kidding.
you're going to get on the opposite side of the orb and try to lift it. Okay.
Yes.
and it very light, like you lift it with almost no effort.
On 3, throw it.
Are you
Hold
going
on.
to throw it?
Straight up and then catch it.
I'm going to interrupt and say, wait, why are we throwing it up?
But you wait too long, so you end up catching it in the face.
One of you goes a little bit behind the other one and ends up being like throwing a beach ball. It kind of goes over one of your heads, but you lose sight of it because your hands are off of it. No, so are you literally going to throw this in the air?
I am suggesting that.
I do not want to do that quite yet. What are we trying to accomplish by throwing it in the air?
Yeah. See if it, floats back down or it falls like it's supposed to. We could set it on a scale, see how heavy it is.
Oh, well, we know it has. I mean, the floating, I guess. What?
Basically, he's trying to determine if it's
Mostly
like a
science,
beach
you can find
ball. If it's like a beach ball, where it'll come
Okay.
down, but it's it kind of falls slowly.
Okay, I'm going to qualm with throwing it in the air, but I will agree with like a light toss. So it's only going to go up maybe a foot or so, not above our heads.
If you prefer, we can lift it up high and then drop our hands quickly. See how long it takes to drift back down to our hands.
Well, if it drops fast, moving hands would be like if we just toss it up just a little bit. So if it's chest height, and then it would be like go up to like where our heads are.
Okay.
Like when you said that, I imagined like tossing it towards the ceiling and then mainly catching it, and that sounded like
No.
not great science plans.
Yeah, because you're a great science author. Do it.
I have the rank, sir.
All right, so you're going to toss it lightly into the air,
Mhm.
gently. Okay, and you do so. You wait, and it descends back to your hands, but it took a few seconds.
Huh.
It wasn't immediately up and down. It was up and then down.
Okay, then. That's weird.
Let me try something.
What do you want to try?
Just let me have it.
So you're taking it, you just awkwardly holding it now?
Okay, you can.
I'm
All
going
right,
to walk over and try to stick it to the wall and see if it stays or if it drops.
Okay, that works because I wanted to see if it made what kind of sound it made when it drops. So two birds, one stone.
Um,
Not up high, just chest level.
Yeah.
So sure, it's not heavy at all. You can carry it, manage it by yourself. I mean, it has a little bit of weight to it,
Mhm.
but it's not much. But it's just awkward because it's so big around. And you go to grab it though, and you turn, and you walk over to one of the walls, finding an appropriate spot, and you push it up against the wall. It takes a second or two, but you don't hear anything. You reach out for where you touched it, where you put it against the wall. It's not there. And you move your hand down, and it comes to rest on top of it. It's resting on the floor.
I pick it back up,
You do so.
and before Nan can react, I throw it as high up as I can.
Okay, you watch as he picks it up off the ground and throws it up in the air. All right, what are you expecting, or what do you want? What are you waiting for?
I want to see if I can hear it hit the roof, if it goes that high.
Mhm.
And then I want to see if it makes a noise when it hits the ground.
Okay, it doesn't make a noise. You wait for a few seconds more, and you feel something kind of brush against your knee, and it appears for a second. It's on the ground.
Spooky.
Huh.
It just dawned on me the thing hit the ship and didn't break. I don't think we're going to break it by dropping it.
Okay. We got a little bit more science to do.
Welcome to Alone in the Void for all of our viewers, where we play with a magical orb that is currently invisible. They don't know where it came from. How do we figure out what it is? We pick it up and throw it, keeping in mind that it's invisible. So whatever it actually does, you don't know. You're just hoping.
Oh god.
And this is how caveman discovered fire. Grog, lick the orange thing. See if it hurts.
So this is gonna be great forever. Just join this. So I'm gonna lie next to the wall, and you're gonna put it near
Whip
my
it at
like,
him.
not close. We're almost at the
Drop it on his chest.
like I'm like I want to see if it doesn't make sound or if it just contains the sound in the same field that is obscuring visibility.
Sure.
So I want to put it like so my ears would be within.
You want to lay your ear on the
vision
side of
field.
it while I bump it against the wall.
Yeah, and you can just bang it basically.
Okay.
Does it make sound when we do it?
The best ever.
I'm
This is-
sorry. This reminds me of the car salesman meme, where it's just like Ensign slaps the top of the orb. This kid fits so much confusion in it.
Free confusion estate.
Yeah,
Wait.
this is
All I can think of is that's the free real estate one, isn't it? It's free
Yeah.
real estate.
all right. So you lie down on the floor. You take it over and for lack of a better way of saying this, bang it against the wall.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not how science actually works.
Yeah, if you're
Please
a
don't
scientist
do
out
this
there,
at
please
all.
don't do it this way.
Science is more of an art than a science. Most people just don't get there.
We have a hypothesis. We're testing it.
This is true.
This is science.
This is true. You just don't have a control. Oh, you're variable. I guess I don't know. All right, so you move it. It is almost imperceptible, as though something were dampening the sound, but you can almost barely make out the of him
Dribbling
knocking it
it.
against the wall. You feel that if your ear were any further away, you wouldn't have heard it.
Can you dribble it? Like actually though?
You don't know.
Have y'all tried that?
Not yet.
Just a question.
Next on the list.
I just imagine Quentin's watching all of this from the bridge and just hits the comm. Have you tried dribbling it? And then just leans back.
Back them.
Well, is it presumably this entire time like Quentin can't see it either, right?
No, I'm just
No,
seeing
but
you like
he's
holding
watching
it and like
YouTube.
your
He's
hands are
watching
gone.
you
It's just
two
like
idiots just
I'm just like looking around the bridge
the
like
weirdest game of charades ever.
Richardson his workout video.
head of the game. Oh,
This is every 80s workout VHS ever, really. And lay down and stretch. And lay down and stretch.
Does it make a sound?
Okay, so.
oh.
All right. Well, our Space Jane Fonda is trying to figure out what this is on the bridge. What are you doing there?
I was probably just watching the camera and double.
You're just
checking.
you're engrossed in what's going on.
I'm
with
just
these
like looking at our trajectory, our path, and I'm just like looking over at the camera every once in a while, seeing them like walking around on the screen. Like, I'm gonna go back to the maps.
All right. You are still on course, and the map that you pulled from the orb, if you stay on the trajectory that you're in, you will have cut your trip to the colony by hundreds of years.
Okay, so that's good.
Right. Because of what you've determined to be the start and end of this bridge will put you back on your original trajectory, but hundreds of years from where you started.
But we'll also miss the celestial body?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So I'm just gonna Not change the trajectory. I'm gonna keep us on.
It goes against everything. Every fiber in your body is screaming.
She's like, I want to change it. Don't change it. Don't change it. Nope, I'm not gonna change it. It's
All right.
just gonna tie my hands behind the chair and not change the path.
All right, so you're back to watching these two play with the orb.
Yep.
Nara, you are alone. The captain's eyes are open, staring. You haven't really been counting, but it doesn't appear as though she's been blinking. She's just kind of staring. What are you doing?
Once they're all out of my office,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go back and sit behind my desk
And just
and try and figure out what the hell I'm doing and why the fuck I thought this was a good idea.
What?
Go
Whoa.
on, what they said. This will help everything. You'll wake up and everything will be behind you.
And then I'm going to pull up the colonist log and make sure that nothing has gone astray and that we're still only missing the 45 we were before.
You are. There are only 45 missing.
Okay. I'm going to do a full scan of the ship.
All right. Looking for life form?
I am looking for any biotic mass. Not life form, biotic mass. Because these colonists can't have just grown legs and walked away in cryosleep.
They don't.
You are correct. Generally, that does
So-
not happen.
Unless they were
You have
spaced.
to grow legs to
I was
walk
gonna
away.
say, I'm like, they have legs. They're not tadpoles.
Alright,
That you
look,
know of.
after everything else that's been happening, if they grew legs and walked after having legs already, it would not surprise her.
They just grew legs and sent it toward away.
Yeah, just fucking crab walked backwards out of the fucking yeah.
Let's take that
Exactly,
shit somewhere
exactly
else.
like that, Pelka.
We're gonna find a room and it's just a bunch of colonists Zoidberging.
They're just like, they're just like back and forth at each other, and it's like, we're gonna leave that for another day.
They're all in the cargo bay. It's just
I am not
Walking
paid
down
enough to
circles.
care about that.
They're just circling something, and it's like,
Boom.
I'm not going down there.
they're
Mm-mm.
circling the crate, staring at it.
Nara sees that. Nara sees that. Nope, I'm not paid enough for that shit. Mm-mm.
Oh god.
It's just like, do we have a psychologist? Does Nara count? What is this?
Actually,
21st
yes.
century, The Shining. You open the door.
Actually, yes. Nara's specialization with her doctorate is in psychology.
There's
It'd be
two
like
of
the
them
door
standing there
sliding
hand in hand.
open, the colonists will turn, stare at you, and then start like speed crab walking at you, and you're like trying to shut the door, like, please, please, no.
That's nightmare fuel, Vanessa. Stop it.
You're telling
What's even
me.
scarier is they turn, look at you, and then they turn back and look at the crate and don't move. They just-
No. No,
Okay.
They can have that crate.
All right.
They need it,
All
obviously.
right. Enough with the nightmare fuel. I want to actually be able to sleep tonight.
Open the cargo bay. Everybody's just out. Problem solved.
I'm gonna
They're
go space
alive!
myself
Shut
in a
the door.
second.
We found them. I don't want to see them anymore.
No.
All right.
There's still 45 missing. Scanning the ship for any biotic mass. Your parameters are looking for carbon base as far as human is concerned.
Yeah.
Ship does a full scan. There's 1 in the bridge, 3 in the medical bay, 2 in the engineering bay.
Tane's in the medical bay. I was just saying 3 in the medical bay? What? Hang on a second.
You look up quickly. Right. Right.
Oops.
Oopsies.
And then of course it would register all of the colonists in the
All of the colonists that are present in there.
okay, but
It
doesn't
scans-
register any other carbon life forms.
It doesn't seem to have any other carbon-based life forms on there. I mean, other than the ones that you would expect, basically.
Okay. I'm going to pull up the logs and see, because I'm assuming that Nain had informed us that, we had found previous iterations. Well, not previous iterations, but like the stuff before. That my theory was mostly correct, but
all of the
we
cameras.
weren't hacking the timeline.
Yeah, no. Not as far as you're aware.
Okay, I'm going to pull up those logs from before each reset. And I'm going to see if the airlock was opened at any time, besides the ones that we know about, which would have been when Tane went out on his mag boots.
Okay.
So, as far as I know, there should be one. I know for sure that there was one instance of the airlock opening, plus the one of somebody coming back in, which we know was Tane, but... So there's 2 that she knows of for sure, and she wants to see if there's 45 more.
There are 40. Looking at it, there's 45 instances, but each one of them, looking at the reference of him, and now that you know what to look for in the log, you see that it's all the times that Tane has returned. With the exception, you understand what I'm saying? There's nothing out of the norm. In other words, every time that it's opened up, it's been because either you all were there whenever he went out on his mag boots the first time that you recall, or it's him returning to the ship.
Okay. And last but not least, because this is the last place that she would think of to check before she starts doing investigation herself. Is there a waste disposal on the ship? She wants to scan the waste disposal.
Okay, that would have been part of your scan originally.
She wants to check if it's been used at all.
Okay.
That's what she's checking for, because I'm assuming that it's fairly efficient, which means that it would clean itself out. Which means that there wouldn't be any human remains left, but if it was used, it should still be logged that it was used and cleaned.
Yeah. And, there's a report.
How many?
45.
We ain't getting those back. Where goes that deposit?
Whoa.
Where is the garbage disposal area?
It is, it's, so you've got the seed bank housing.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you'd have to go through the maintenance chute underneath the seed bank housing to the back side of it. Because it's not like you can just open the door and walk into it. It's actually like a separate maintenance part. You know this much. You don't sure how it operates. You do know that, however, it uses not like the reactor, but basically uses like a superheat. Like it basically flash heat to incinerate whatever's there. The ash or whatever is then compressed, and if it's a non-flammable item, there's a separate hold that it collects in and then jettisons. But for the most part, it tries to ash everything, because the ash can then be used to pull back around and recycle into the seed bank for nutrients. So whatever is that, it's not jettisoned out, it's reused.
Okay, and is there a log of how much was incinerated?
Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you that.
Keep that log. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just to double check, because she wants to be thorough and make sure that this is actually what happens and her theory is correct, she's going to pull up the camera feeds for every time that they reset and see if Tane and Quentin went and ate every time. And if they only ate the once, then she knows that this is where the colonists have gone.
Looking at the feeds, You watch, and it's going to take you a bit of time to scan this because it's 5. It's like, are you looking for just your 45 iterations that you had?
Yeah, we're looking
Oh, okay.
just for the 45 iterations where people were going missing, and then specifically looking at the mess hall. And if nobody showed up as she sped through it, then she knows.
Yeah,
even if like 2 or 3 of them don't have anybody showing up, it's enough to state that this is what happened.
You watch, and it seems like every time that you kind of you watch as you see them every time, I think, except for one, make their way into the mess hall to eat.
What do they do with their garbage? Do they leave
Panic.
it, or do they just throw it? Do they throw it in the garbage chute? Is it
Yep.
no? Because no, you laugh, V, but this is actually an important question.
I threw it at a
Like
tray.
You watch as they put any remnants of their trash into the garbage chute, and they put their trays back into the cleaning, back into the cleaning unit.
Is there a way to tell about, or is there a log for the massive ash? Like, I'm just trying to be
No.
thorough, okay? I'm trying to be thorough.
I understand. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a mass for the amount of ash that it uses because, again, compressed. However, there is a weight collected for any non-flammables
Mm-hmm.
or inflammable and flammable should not
Inflammable.
mean the same thing. Non-flammable material, and it tells you currently that there is like 3 pounds, less than 3 pounds.
Everything in an MRE is flammable.
That is correct.
Is there a way that I can go take a look at what's in that chute?
You would have to crawl through the maintenance tunnels and get into the actual chute itself. You would have to crawl through the maintenance tunnels.
Okay.
Just going to reiterate that. You would have to go through the maintenance tunnels.
Yeah, that's fine. She's gonna get on the comms and tell Nain that she's going into the maintenance tunnels and ask where is the easiest place to get into for the garbage chute.
Much like Rome, all maintenance tunnels lead back into the engineering bay eventually. However, there is one that is not too far from you, and it's basically like, you know how in the malls they have the back alley, so you can go behind the stores, and it's like this little hallway there. It's just a maintenance hall.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. It's a narrow door, and it says maintenance on it. It's not just to reach out and open it. It's actually has a lock mechanism on it because they don't want anybody just traipsing through.
Nain, I need the code for the maintenance hallways, please.
Oh no, this is a physical lock. It's not a.
Oh, it's a physical lock.
It's an actual
Whoa.
physical lock.
Oh god.
Would I have the key for it?
There are 3 people who would have a key for it. Actually, 2 people right now who would have a key for it: the captain and our science officer. But you don't have the key on you physically. It's just in your office.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to inform him that I'm coming down to the engineering bay so he can let me into the maintenance tunnels.
All right.
Need a key.
Interrupting our fun.
You finished playing. You finished playing with the Invisible Beach, Mysterious Origin.
Yeah, one more thing I'd like to try.
I get that. Are you gonna sit on his chest while he's laying
I
there?
want him to climb up on top of it, and then I want to try to pick it up.
Okay.
Sure.
That's an idea.
You climb up on top of it easily enough, and you try to lift it up.
Mhm.
Give me an athletics roll.
Him or me?
Him.
Lucky.
I think your athletics rolls is about like this, like the medical officers, isn't it, Nane?
Any modifier?
No. And it's heavy. It's heavier, a lot heavier than what it was. But yeah, you actually managed to lift it off of the ground. You managed to hold on barely to it. I mean, it's a 5-foot diameter. It's not like, this is a huge platform for you to sit on. It's kind of small, but you lift it up. Yeah. It, like I said, it's much heavier than when you lifted it without him on there, but you're able to lift it.
Does it feel like he's weighing as much as he should?
No.
Okay. So he added extra weight to it, but not as much weight as he should have.
Right. It looks like he's added some mass to it, but not enough to.
Okay.
Wait.
Clearly, it's made of upsidasium.
All right. So.
Which is has slightly cooler properties than unobtainium.
How am I sitting and or laying across this orb?
You tell me, how would you like to? Sitting cross-legged Indian style on the.
Just belly flat, arms.
You just laying down on it like a
Holding
cat on a
onto it.
keyboard, just.
What?
Just looking him in the eye the whole time.
You drop this, you die. You
Well-
drop me, we're in trouble.
So what I want to see. So I'm lifted up on the orb.
Yep.
See what happens when you drop. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Bounces off, goes flying.
I let go and take a quick step backwards.
You watch as he drifts to the ground slowly. Not like, but, and whenever he lands, it just sits. There's no bounce to it. There's no, it just.
Does he feel a jarring when it hits?
No. You feel a slight, but like a dampened feel.
How?
Is this what I walk in on?
Yeah. The comm spikes. I'm coming down. Nara tells you she's coming down. And right as you enter the engineering bay, you watch as Nane drifts to the ground and then sits there on top of something.
How far do you think you could throw me on the orb?
Not very. From the weight that it had, like I said, you had to probably not very far.
All right, we don't.
What are you doing?
Science.
Calisthenics.
Calisthenics.
We're trying to figure out the properties.
I'm waiting
the
for them to
invisible
sit
orb.
down back to back and start passing the orb. Doing the twists of the body and passing the orb back and forth.
Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna ask questions about your science. Can you please just let me into the maintenance tunnels?
The key is in your office.
Okay, we're in our office, or in my office. So okay.
There's a little metal box on the wall. Everybody's seen one if they've ever worked any place that has multiple keys. As you open it up, you see that there are multiple keys labeled for different things. There's one that's labeled for the maintenance tunnels itself.
What do you need in the maintenance tunnel, Mark?
Got a theory. Need to check it out before I present you the facts. Call it being thorough, just like your sciencing.
Wait.
I checked on the colonists. There's 45 there. Or there's 45 missing.
Okay.
Okay.
Which means we haven't lost anybody since
Mhm.
the cycle broke. Did a full
Okay.
scan of the ship. There are no biometric signals besides the ones that we know for sure are there. Which means
Excuse me.
us here in this office, the two that I left back in the medical bay, Quentin in the navigation in the bridge, and then all 4 pods of colonists, minus the 45. So I went looking for the 45 because we've been trying to break this loop and kind of putting the colonists on the wayside, which I didn't agree with, but I understand that. Anyway, not getting into it. But they're nowhere to be found on the ship. The airlock is only ever opened when Tane has gone in and out. So that's 90 times both ways. Which, okay, fine. But, which means that either Tane is spacing them, or they're being disposed of in alternate means. And
The
currently, there is 3 pounds of non-flammable material in the collection hold for the garbage disposal. Only way to get to that, through the maintenance tunnels. I want to go see what it is.
Okay, before you do that, can I do the same biometric? I'm assuming I can do the same biometric scan from my office that she did.
Yeah, you can do that. It's you guys have access to the same computer.
All right. Gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
One of us, I want you to just like, I want to see if you are fully inside the whatever dampening field for this orb. Would it cause you to not show up on the ship scanners?
You can literally do this after you've let me into the maintenance tunnels, because you have the ensign here.
But if he gets on top of the ball, wouldn't it roll?
Oh.
Not necessarily,
That's true.
because he did.
Try to balance
jump on
myself
top
on
of
top of
it.
the ball.
All right, you watch as the ensign scrambles on top of the ball like a giant child.
I'm just. Wait. If this happens to be the case, you don't have to throw.
Advanced technology presented to you, and what do? Scramble on top of it like it's.
Sorry, what was that, Pelka?
Well, I'm just if the invisible orb technology is what's hiding can hide people, then presumably, well, I guess it doesn't mean that they definitely. Okay, here's your key.
Thank you. She's gonna take
I
the
have a
key and just
question.
go to the main. She just. This is. There is science, and then there is whatever the hell they're doing.
I have a question about how the incinerator works.
About the incinerator? Okay.
Would they turn it on every time an MRE hit, or would it have to build a certain amount of mass for it to turn on?
You don't know. That fella over there would know. And it does accumulate a certain amount of mass before it ignites.
So 45 MREs going in probably wouldn't cause it to flare up for 45 times.
It would be 90 MREs, but regardless, it wouldn't flare 45 times.
Okay.
Unless there's like a turn on switch to activate it early. I'm just having a general question. I'm not here at the moment.
Nain, you do know that it can be activated manually. However, it has to be activated from the tunnel, from the actual maintenance room that sits off in front of it. And I say maintenance room, it's more like a broom closet that has a panel that looks into it. You do know that it can be activated manually from that position. You do know how much mass it takes, and it's actually like a few hundred pounds, like about 100, 120, 200 pounds. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's like about 100 to 150 pounds is usually what it takes to activate it. So.
Okay. So I gave her the key.
Mm-hmm.
And I headed off to a maintenance door and let myself
I still
in.
want to do my test.
Of course.
Okay.
She was just like, you don't need me here for this. Please let me go do the thing that I want to do.
There is another entry into the maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And this would actually be a lot closer than where you were up in the med bay. The problem is that you're not familiar with the tunnels, and they are not, or the hall. I say tunnels. The maintenance halls. That's what they are. You're not as familiar with them, and some of them crisscross with one another. So you'll want to make sure that you kind of know where you're going.
Is there
Are
a
there
map
maps?
that I can pull up?
There is a data pad that you can take from from one of the locations, and you can use it, and you can pull up the schematics of the ship. Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to track all the maintenance halls. kind of
Okay.
like set a waypoint, as it were, as if I was using it as a GPS, and
Sure.
have it actually like direct me through the halls.
You can bring up the schematics and you can see where you're going, and you can actually use it to strip away particular parts, but you can't really. It doesn't have a geo-positioning for the ship that'll allow you to use it like a GPS, but you can kind of go, here's where I'm at, go up to, and then cross over, and then back up. I should be able to get there. So you can kind of set your marker in your own mind. What experiment would you like to do with the giant advanced technology orb? Gato. Giant advanced technology orb. Gato.
Have someone fully enveloped in the field and then do the biometric scan.
You can crawl on top of it, or you can lay down and set it on your chest, but the field doesn't have enough thickness, from what you remember, to be fully enveloped into it.
Sure.
Remember, whenever someone sat on it or hugged it or put their arms, it made part of their arm disappear, but not like the full thing. If they put their hand on it, it would be like that much of their fingers.
Oh, okay.
It's not a very
Damn. All right, so there goes that idea. I don't think we need to test. It's too heavy to fly or glide with, be thrown. I don't think there's any more science I can think of to do with the ball right now.
If there's no one sitting on it, it's pretty light. You could toss it a pretty good distance. It was just with you on it, he couldn't throw it very far.
Yeah. But we already know it falls slowly, so.
All right, V, what are you doing at this time, Quentin?
Well, there's one thing I do want to look for, because I remember in my memories that there was maybe a satchel charge on the bridge.
Not on the bridge. It was in the.
I just remember grabbing it from the bridge. Maybe I'm just not thinking. Okay.
You
So
knew
this-
that your memory is it's like one of those dreams where it's like
Oh.
not you, but it was you.
Oh,
And
yes.
you're correct. It was on the bridge at the time that you grabbed it in that memory, but you don't know where from.
Okay. And then Nara's going through the maintenance tunnels. I couldn't help her with that over, like, from the bridge, could I?
No, because unfortunately you don't have like personal comms. I tap my chest because everybody knows that's where you activate the personal comm. Not here. Not a whisper mic.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Go left. I mean right, actually. I'm terrible at directions. Don't ask me. No,
No, you're other
say
way.
as the navigator.
I'm
We
terrible.
were
at
going
directions,
left the
unless you're
whole
a spaceship.
time, and as I'm going right.
You're not a spaceship. That's why it doesn't compute.
You're not a large metal body. Sorry, I can't help.
Right.
Yeah, there's not much I can do. I guess I could go with Nara, so she's not alone in the maintenance tunnels. But
If you would like to, but you'd have to go down to the engineering bay and catch up with her because that's
I
where
don't
she's
wanna-
going at.
yeah, I don't want to go near that orb.
Why are you spooked by the orb?
I'm not.
Is
I'm
the
dead
orb
set
okay?
at not going for that orb. Actually, I think the last memory I remember is Nain with bloody hands and Tane and the ensign and the captain pulling guns on him and me just running. I guess I
That is
could.
the memory you have. Yes.
That's a memory I have, so that's like, no, I just don't want to touch the herb either. Yeah, I'll go down to the engineering and I'll like catch up with Nara then. I'll go
Okay.
with Nara and help whatever she's doing.
All right. She hits the comms and you hear her say, "Hey, I'm going down to engineering." You're not really sure why, but watching these two, you see her go down there. You run
Oh,
as
buddy
quickly as you
system.
can. Take the mag lift down. You enter the engineering bay. The maintenance tunnel, the maintenance hall is already open, and you can tell she's already gone.
Cool.
She's a little bit ahead of you.
Cool. I will catch up.
All right. You enter the tunnel. You enter the hall with either a left or a right.
I need to choose left or right. Sorry, you
Uh-huh.
cut out for a second.
Yes, you need to choose left or right. You do not see Nara. You can go left or right.
If I yell, can she hear me?
You don't know.
Hello, Nara. I'll just yell down one of the hallways. Wait, would it
Um,
echo?
It's metal. It's a lot of metal.
Yeah. Can she hear me?
Yeah, you yell out, "Hello, Nara."
Yeah.
Yeah, faintly from behind you, kind of rattling in the metal, you hear Quentin call out your name.
She's gonna call back.
Seems like it's coming from the right passage.
Okay.
And she'll stop and wait for Quentin to catch up to her.
Can I just want to yell, did you go left or right? And get the proper way she went.
You went right.
I went right.
Okay. I'm gonna go right then.
You run down there. The passageway then branches once more. You can continue straight, or you can turn to your left. Looking to your left, you see Nara standing there with a dead pad in her hand.
I'm off. Left.
All right. Yep. It's not very far. You run down the tunnel. You run down the hallway, or you nonchalantly try not to make it look like you were running down the passageway to catch up. Hey.
I just speed walked here. I didn't run.
Not because I'm terrified of being alone on this ship at all. Just saying.
Yeah. I don't have my partner in crime, Tane, today. So, hi. Tane. I don't have Tane with me. Hi. What are you doing? Can I help? Pretty much. That's it.
I'm investigating what's in the to be jettisoned container for the garbage disposal.
Why? It's just garbage, isn't it?
Because I've got a theory of where our 45 missing colonists are. And if I'm right, we have a murderer on the ship. Or something crawled in when we weren't paying attention and is trying to kill everybody. I don't fucking know. All I know
Delicious.
is I've got 45 missing colonists. I have a captain who is completely out of it up in my med bay. A marine who just seems to enjoy flipping off space because that's gonna do something. We've got Tweedledee and Tweedledum in the friggin' engineering bay doing Lord knows what with that goddamn ball.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I never.
Alright, look.
I.
Look, when she walked in, you guys were doing weird shit.
Yeah, we're touching shit.
I was
oddly.
floating slowly to the ground. I was like, that's impressive. Okay.
Weird. So,
you
you
had
know,
memories,
I'm just...
right? Did you?
Wait, what did you just ask?
I'm jumping us. Do you remember anything from past loops? Because Quentin's pulling up on that murder comment.
Because I swear to God, it sounded like you just asked if you had ovaries.
Did you have memories? Memories! Don't talk to me about this. Quentin doesn't want to hear that shit. No. Take that back.
Memories from... What do you mean?
Before. From past cycles. Do you remember, like, we woke up and had those 4 or 5 cycles.
Where we remembered everything.
Yes. Did you get past ones?
No.
Okay.
No, I got memories of us playing as kids.
Well, that's
And of almost marrying your brother.
right. Yep, that's a thing.
And saying goodbye to my dads. And laying your father out on the floor.
Yep. That's a good memory.
That was a great memory. Your dad's an
Okay.
asshole. Was an asshole. Thank God he's dead now.
As much as that is good to hear, it also hurts.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, potential murderer on the ship. I need to check to see what's in there, because if it's actually parts of their bodies that can't be ashed or incinerated, or parts of their clothing that can't be incinerated, which is also completely possible, then it's metal either waiting to be melted down to be used for something else, or jettisoned out of the ship entirely. That also means that these things are getting triggered by somebody. Because the garbage chute won't trigger automatically unless there's a couple 100 pounds of stuff in the chute, and it's been triggered 45 times.
Yeah, let's go check that out.
He said like 100, 150.
Between 100 to 150.
That's
A couple 100 pounds.
Which is like a person.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You use the metrics. I should.
Actually, no, I use pounds.
I'm just messing with you.
Um,
How many stone is that? Can we get that? Can we get that translated to how many stone?
but yeah, so that's
How many boulders?
So
That's-
fucking what, mate?
What, mate?
I just want to be sure, because if I'm wrong, great. If I'm right, we have a problem.
True. Well, okay. I'll come with her. I'll go with you. I also realize Quentin hasn't changed. But let's go, yeah. Quentin's not wearing his pants. It's the only reason I bring it up. Okay, let's go.
You're still not wearing your pants?
I
Just-
didn't
just
think. It's
out
just
there in
dragging
the-
the pant legs. Who's got longer legs than Quentin? Besides Tane.
Tane.
I just hike the pants up to my chest and we start going.
I think
The
the
ensign
ensign has
might.
longer legs, and I think the science officer has longer legs than Quentin.
Probably.
Matter
So
of fact,
I'm
I
wearing
think
of
the
y'all's
only one
pants.
who doesn't have longer legs than Quentin is Nara.
Well, I can't wear Nara's pants, so that's fine. They'd be up to my kneecaps. No. Just hike the pants up to my chest.
All right, so you're like cuffing them over, so it's like some
I'm
weird-
like folding them up, pulling it up to my chest. Yeah.
Okay.
You make your way. You continue down this tunnel or this hallway. It branches off to your left and right. Looking at your data pad, you know to go right again. You walk and you watch as the hall curves around. You follow it. You can see there are a couple of branches off of it from here and there. You see ladders that go up into the upper part of the ship. More passageways and things like that. You finally find yourself, and it's not, the seed bank itself is cold. You can feel the cold drifting down through the metal, but it's not like being in the seed bank. So you kind of know you're in the right place. Sure enough, you see a short ladder that drops into a cylindrical room. Climbing down the ladder, you land. You can see it's not a view screen, but it's like a window. It's not very big. It's double reinforced material, and you can see through it into a large-ish room that has what appears to be like large metal filament tubes that run all around the room, with the exception of the bottom of it. You see what appears to be like the bottom of it kind of comes in at 4 points, and then you see a small like trap hole in the bottom of it. It's about that big around. It's not very big at all. The remnants of ash kind of sit in the corner in places, but you can see in there. You can see the interior glass. Like I said, it's double reinforced. The interior glass, there's a little bit of blackening around the edges of it.
Okay. So I'm looking for the area that would normally jettison non-flammable material.
Okay. The room itself has another. It's just like I said, it's a cylinder. You can see though there's another hatch just on the if you're looking out the window, it's on your left. And you can move through that hatch and into another. It looks like this one as well. It's like just a small cylindrical room, barely big enough for the both of you to fit in there. It's very small. You can see there's a computer there. There's a computer in the other one as well, but you can see a computer sitting in here. And you don't see a porthole to look through here, but you have a camera and there's a small display screen. It seems like this was closed circuit. The only thing it plays back to is this particular screen.
Okay. What's in this room that we're looking into?
Oh, on the camera? Okay.
Yep.
It's a very small area. It's maybe about 4 feet in height and about 6 feet in length and maybe about 5 feet in width. So very much like a coffin. And you see, looking in there, you can see material just laying on the ground. It doesn't seem to have been jettisoned yet. Looking in there, you kind of can see, like, it looks like a wristband made out of metal. You see what appears to be, Quentin, you're not familiar with this. Nara, it takes you a second to look, but you see what appears to be, and at first you were like, it appears to be a piece of metal that's curved, and then it has a hook up, and then you can see that there's nothing attached, but you see little knobs of wire off of it, as though something used to cross between it or hold in place. You can see a small white object that has a wire running out around it. You can see what appears to be rings, like jewelry, laying in there as well. And there are other various items that are just lying in there.
Somebody's personal remains.
Yeah, looking at it, you can realize that one of them is a retainer, that actually like the brace retainer piece.
Yep.
One of them appears to be like a false tooth that had a wire piece that held in. Yeah, it's somebody's non-flammable pieces that they had on them.
Quentin, we have a problem.
Huh? I can see all this stuff too, right? Or is this screen just...
Somebody's been incinerating the colonists. Someone or something.
Something. I don't think if it was something that they would just incinerate colonists. They'd probably be a little more hungry first.
But we were stuck in that time loop over and over and over.
Aliens immediately. Your first thought is
Quentin's like,
what if they suck out all the liquids and then they just gotta get rid of the rest of it?
ew.
That's gross.
Now listen. Quentin's not a
hello,
doctor.
blood-filled meatbag.
We have a vampire on the ship.
Hello,
Space
blood-filled
vampires.
meatbag. Space vampires with advanced technology.
I always knew this is how I'd go out.
Ever since you used life force.
I'm going to go back into the other room, and
Okay.
I want to check the logs of who started the incinerator.
Can I fit into the incinerator?
Can
This
you
is
not?
A bad idea.
No, can I like maybe get half my body into it and reach one of these like objects?
No. Not
I
from
have to
here.
get. Okay. Where would I have to go?
Down a garbage chute.
Can I get out afterwards?
No.
Probably not.
Oh. Okay.
Technically, yes. As either ash or jettisoned into space. Your choice.
What if okay, now this is just a brain moment. I can't think of the word. But what if I put on one of the spacesuits, went down the garbage chute, grabbed what I need, get jettisoned out, and then come back into the ship? Is that too much? Is that too far fetched? Or would I be incinerated and then the door would open?
The Picard face palm.
I'm sorry, okay? It would be easiest to find, like, I know we know
Hold on. The incinerator ignites.
and then
And
opens.
there is between 100 and 150 pounds.
Come on.
So
I won't-
unless you
oh,
weigh
yeah,
less
Clinton
than that with your suit on,
No, that would
you would be fried.
Never mind. I won't do it.
Because the way it works is it incinerates anything it can. Anything that doesn't get incinerated is shifted via some format, you're not sure how, into the other location and then into space.
I was just thinking. So when the when it's jettisoned into space, then is it like a full door that opens, or is it like grated?
It looks like it's kind of like a small hatch that opens up in the back of the area.
Okay.
The bottom drops out. You just drop.
Well, no, I was just. You said there was a retainer. We'd be able to.
Yeah, but I can
I'm-
just pull
I
up
don't
the
know, I'm
medical. But I can just pull up the medical logs and match up who had retainers.
That's true.
I would have access to that information, which was my intention after I found out who was activating the incinerator before it should
I
be.
apologize.
Yep.
I'm just overthinking. You do
Looking
your
at the records on this, I need you to give me probably a role you may or may not have.
Is it electronics?
It'd probably be electronics.
Because I have that.
Awesome. Yeah. Yep, we're gonna go with electronics.
Not bad.
No, not bad at all. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Unfortunately, though, any log of activation is currently showing nothing in there. There's no entry. VI space slash or cat space slash var space log space or slash incinerator. All right, so it doesn't show anything in the log right now.
Okay.
While you mull that over. All right, science bros, what are you doing?
Science.
I don't think there's anything left to do with our Wonder Ball.
I mean,
Staccato.
you could open the reactor and shove it in and see what happens.
I like where his head is at. I like where his head is at.
Don't you start, mister. Don't you start.
What's the worst that could happen?
Just a lot.
The ship explodes.
A lot.
Just an
Oh.
idea.
I guess
Mystery bag.
we should ring them over at wherever they went and be like, hey, how things go with the keys?
The comms, don't reach down there.
Weird.
Mhm.
No, it's the. Why would you wire your maintenance pole with a?
Fine.
with a phone?
So if they had to fix something, the captain could yell at them while they were fixing.
That's exactly why he didn't.
He just disappears into the maintenance tunnels when he wants to be alone.
He's got it somewhere squirreled away. He's got a pack of smokes and some good single barrel malt. Just fuck your ship.
Every day they ask me to go faster.
I'm giving it all she's got, Captain.
Glug 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 glug. Do I sound Scottish now?
Huh. What else is there to do? I guess we'll just walk over there. I guess I can't think of anything else to do right now with the ball.
Okay.
That wouldn't
So-
risk immediate death.
You don't know. It's an unknown object.
It would risk immediate death.
There's a chance. So, all right. So where are you going to now?
Gonna follow the medical officer to the place whose name I can't recall for reasons
Incinerator?
unknown. Yeah, incinerator down there.
Yippee, what are you doing?
Unless you got better ideas.
I'm going to wait until he leaves the room.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. I thought of something earlier. And I forgot it. Let's go check the
Cargo?
the illicit cargo.
Oh.
See what it is now. What's going on there?
Yeah, okay, we run down there.
All right.
I don't want to run, but
Ship too big. I didn't run. Movie would be over with.
we don't have like
Alright.
10 minutes until the ship blows.
Okay, you get to the cargo bay. Both of you going together?
Mhm.
Okay. Enter. Wait. Door opens. Enter into the cargo bay.
Beeline to the box.
Make a beeline to the box. Bzz. The crate is closed. Nailed. Shut.
Fetch a tool.
Easy enough to find something. Pry it open. It's closed and locked. Keypad on the front holding the lock in place.
Oh, do I have to hack this again?
Go ahead and give me an electronics roll. Okay. Open up. Take the faceplate off. Rework the wires.
Too big to
Again.
do that.
Give me another electronics roll. All right.
Jack's probably switching over. 'Cause they probably
We
put
get
that on.
in this bitch.
You swap. Finally, you figure out the right combination. There's a soft and then a hits. And the crate is available for you to open it up. All right. Looking inside the crate, nondescript, unlabeled boxes. Each one about yay big by about that thick. Stacked as high as you can see.
All right, let's take one of those and see if you can look inside. Open it up.
You open the box up and a package slides out. Again, there's no label on it. It seems to be like a
Space Girl cookies.
yeah, that's it exactly.
Yeah,
It seems to be a bar of something inside of it. The package, you can't see through it. It's black. It's kind of a dark green color. You can open one up. You tear it open, and you pour it out, and it's made out of some kind of material that's pressed together. Smell it. Look at it. The texture on it is like fine grained sand, but it's like pressed together. So it doesn't like just fall apart in your hands, but you can tell it has some pliancy to it, like it's gonna come apart or something like that.
Do I have any idea what this is?
It's a bar.
What this material like is?
That is a good question. Let's see.
Skippy seen this? Would Skippy know?
Give me a science roll. Skippy, you can give me a science roll as well.
Yeah, science is a specific skill.
Should be. If you don't have that,
I've got jack of all trades. Streetwise might work if it's a drug.
jack of all trades.
Any modifier for my profession?
No, just a straight roll. Okay. Your name, you're not certain. It's the same for you, Skippy. You guys aren't really certain what this is. I mean, it doesn't rub off on your fingers like if you rub your thumb across the bar. It just feels like that texture underneath your hands. It's solid, but at the same time, you can tell it has some flex and pliability into it.
And that's boxes of that stuff is all that's in here this time.
It's all that's in here.
How many boxes in there?
They're that wide, so I would say. So. $35 on a layer. They're about that thick, so there's probably, because it's 7 this way, 5 that way, so it's 35 boxes in the first layer. They're only like that thick, so let's say there's probably about 12 layers.
All right.
So 35 by 12. Somebody want to do the math? That's how many are in there. It seems to not have much of a smell to it.
420.
Is it really?
Oh
Oh my god!
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh my god,
It's-
we are
The
children.
box is still a drug reference. All right. Oh, wait. Hold on. So that means it's not divisible by 45. So this is probably not people matter.
Fuck off. Actually, it is. Okay.
Probably.
So we've concluded that it is not Soylent Green.
Yes. Well, probably. The conversion rate of people to bars is probably not an exact science.
Well, that and you. That or you don't know how much it weighs, so people to bars is not exact science. How
I
can
mean, with the
nothing you do
science
is an
you
exact
throw around.
science? Just saying. As a science officer, you are the worst for science.
Also, I'm pretty sure that there is actually a science for converting people to bars, because if they're bars, there's a good chance that it's probably jerky. And then it is literally just the ratio of meat. And how much you dry out.
Eat it. Tell us what it is.
You wanna think
Jerky
about
doesn't
that?
have a sand-like texture, though.
It
Yeah, it's-
depends on how good you are at making jerky.
Would this be not very good?
I
Who knows?
guess
What do you want to do?
I guess I'll taste the bar.
Yes!
I was thinking
You have
I
an
will-
entire science lab at your disposal, and you're gonna
No.
taste test the bar.
Quickest way.
I would like for clarification. Words that I have never said in the 28 years of doing this. Describe to me how you are tasting the bar. Are you licking the bar? Are you taking a bite out of the bar?
Bite sounds way too aggressive for what I think.
Way,
Way
that's
too
moving
aggressive.
way too quick. Just baby
Like,
nibble.
Like not even like a.
I think it's a good rule of
Rub it
thumb.
on
If you're
your
putting a
teeth.
foreign object in your mouth, generally not biting is
not first. We're
the
like,
least
not,
amount of teeth is better.
We'll get there. Don't worry.
not
We're
even
gonna
like
work our way up to
We're
that.
working on the science for it.
not even
basically.
like a lick. Just sort of like you stick your tongue out and just touch it
Eh.
to the bar. Just,
Skippy just seems like a wonderful idea as you watch Nane go.
just like a,
The texture of it is exactly what you would expect. It is a fine grain. The taste of it is nothing. It would be like sticking your tongue to a bit of styrofoam. It doesn't have any flavor or
all
taste.
right. And I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Not currently, yes, you're correct. The bar where you stuck your tongue to it glistens a bit.
Nice.
Gross.
All right.
Welcome to Alone in the Void, folks, where I give people existential crises and we lick bars.
Lick bars and bounce on balls.
This is what this episode has been, is watching you do everything you can to possibly kill yourself.
Everything
And
to
yet
possibly do
Fail to
science.
do so.
Every possible variation of science except for use our scientific equipment.
You have a giant
great, sweetie.
computer that has data and
Yeah, I was gonna say that's now.
But then we'd have to walk all the way back to the office.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just
Think
like
about
cutting the time in half.
yeah. I mean, that's the next part. Like, I don't know what it is
Quentin,
now.
don't encourage this shit.
I'm not there. I'm not encouraging nothing.
So
then V. Stop encouraging this shit.
take the bar that we got.
Okay.
Take like one more box at random from like a different
Okay.
row.
Okay. All right. Sure thing.
Whatever.
What about you, Skippy? Are you grabbing any of this weird?
No, he's doing fine.
And
Just
let's
moral encouragement.
head back to engineering to run some scientific tests.
All
With the
right.
board.
Heading back to your science bay. What, Nara? There's nothing on the logs that show what was incinerated or who incinerated them.
Okay.
Who incinerated who?
Is there a way for me to check from where I am? Is there a way for me to check the weight of each of the 45 that are missing? Can I access it through the data pad that I have in my hand?
No, you'd have to go back
I have
up
to go back
to
up. Okay.
yeah, back up to your office.
All right. Well, I am going to start heading back up that way, reaching out and kind of grabbing a hold of Quentin's shirt to drag him behind me so that he doesn't get lost.
All right. Do you want to go back through the engineering room, or do you want to go straight to the straight up the hall?
No, we'll go back to the engineering room so I can hand him back the key after I've left up.
All right, so you make your way back through. About the time that you arrive, you watch as Skippy and Nane enter back in through the other door, like the actual door that leads into this room. You shut and lock it, and he's holding something. And are you holding it out, just like holding it in your hand?
Caught.
What's that?
I
It's a
don't
jerky.
know.
We're working on that.
Where did you find it?
What'd you find down in the incinerator?
Our colonist got incinerated. Now, where did you find that?
Wait, back up.
Wait, hold on. As skipping
Oh!
real quick, yeah, like, did you find teeth or like what level of remains?
I found leftover pieces of people's retainers. I found jewelry. I found teeth because apparently teeth can't get incinerated. Thanks, Larry.
Well, wouldn't it be a fake tooth?
No, there was
Yeah.
a fake tooth, but actual teeth can't get incinerated. They don't burn.
Oh,
Yeah,
actually, no, that's right. You're actually right about that. That's actually correct.
Thank
now
you
that
for
I'm
that
thinking
little
about it.
tidbit, Larry. I am paying
He's
attention
gone.
to chat.
He's not
Yep.
here.
a metal wristband. We couldn't get at any of this stuff, but we could at least see it on the viewing screen.
I thought about getting it, but then bad idea.
You
Yeah,
did?
crawling through the incinerator doesn't sound like a plan.
Don't talk to me about bad
Me.
ideas.
All right, look.
But if someone's murdering the, so somebody's
Wait. I just want to make sure that we all just heard that name said crawling through the incinerator doesn't sound like a good idea to me. You know, that it's not a good idea.
I would not advise.
I just
that.
found a weird object that is odorless and doesn't seem to know anything about it.
Don't talk to me about bad ideas, Name.
Yes, somebody's incinerating the colonists. I have to do a couple other checks. Where did you find that stuff? And what is it?
I don't know what it is yet. He's about to test that.
Yeah, we're about to go test that. Let's go see.
Looking at it, Nara, give me a medical.
Whoa.
Okay. It looks familiar to you.
Taste it. Taste it, Nara.
Would you mind? Name? And she'll hold her hand out.
You grab two, give her one of them.
Yeah, here.
Just to rip it.
I'm gonna not say anything, but hand her the one I licked.
Pretty
Is
good
it
give
still
her pressure.
glistening though?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Can I break it?
You can. As
What
you
Is there
take,
chocolate
so, like
filling?
break it in half, or like break off a piece of it.
No,
at
I'm
the
gonna
end?
break off a piece of it just so I can see like the inside of the bar itself.
All right, you break off a piece of it,
Oh.
and you watch as there is almost imperceptibly some small current or something else that seems to run through it. The density of the bar seems to not really diminish, but that little piece you broke off, you watch as that the bar seems to kind of form up and make it solid again. The piece that you have in your hand forms up and becomes a solid piece,
Cube?
not jagged. Like a solid cube.
Magic.
What?
Nope, not magic.
Space wizards.
Excuse me?
The reason that it looks so familiar to you, Nara, is because you know that this is used in small quantities to repair damage done to things on a submicroscopic level or near microscopic level. You would say almost on a nanite level.
Is this like medical? Is this like actual medical stuff, or is it used like on the ship? That's a good question. Like some
Where did you guys find this?
In an unmarked crate in the cargo bay.
Quentin perks up.
This
Huh?
this
It has a lot of
exper-
different properties, but you're familiar
Yeah,
with
is
it.
this would this be an experimental thing?
Yeah, it would
Oh,
be.
God, I ain't licked it.
It would be.
That was okay, no, that was a DM question so that I know where
It
we
would
are
be-
within medical science in the world.
Oh,
Don't tell her that.
It has been introduced. It is at the edge of becoming mainstream, but it is still one of the more expensive treatments for people out there.
This is experimental medical equipment.
weird.
Huh.
It's watch, and then she's gonna actually show it to them. She's going to take the bar and just snap it in half,
Okay.
and then show
watch.
them the ends, and they'd watch as it would reform itself.
Yep.
Wait, do the two ends?
They
Repair
don't
to
reform
itself?
to each other. No, she's holding them out to you so you can watch them repair themselves.
Yep.
This
Oh,
is
so it just
nanite
makes like
technology.
a smooth edge. It just makes a smooth edge. It doesn't like regrow itself.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is nanite technology.
It doesn't deny the properties of its own density. So, but it's the what it's reforming is such a small surface that the density doesn't really feel like it changes in her hands. It does. It takes it from somewhere else to reform it.
Yeah.
But because it's so small, like I said, you're just trying to rough out or smooth out an edge. it doesn't appear to have any removal of density. If you were to keep breaking it up into small bits, eventually it would get to a point where it couldn't. You would watch as it reforms itself into a smooth surface that it's smaller than what it was originally. But again, like I said, because it's such a small amount right now that you can't really tell the density is there, or there's a density.
This is experimental nanite technology, used almost exclusively, as per last I heard, within the medical community, for repairing small tears within the body that couldn't be repaired on their own, or needed the assistance of something, and needle and thread would make it worse, or the dissolvable thread would just not work. It wasn't feasible. These are very expensive.
Huh.
As a matter of fact, the bar that you hold in your hand is probably worth probably $75,000. That's 75,000 units, and you found 420 of those. Doing that math, you had a shit ton down there. A bar of that size that you have in your hand.
This could supply a hospital for
A few.
nearly for almost 4 years. A single bar.
There were quite a few in the box.
Yeah, there were a lot.
How many?
So you said 4 years for that bar?
If they're wise with the use of it and used it only in circumstances that required it because nothing else would work, yes, you're looking at 4 years. If they're using it all willy-nilly, you're looking at maybe a couple months.
That box was... Then we're talking... It would supply a hospital for, I don't know, like a generation or two at least? Like a long time. There were...
Like the box itself, or just the bar for 4 years?
The bar.
The bar for 4
For 4 years.
If it was used appropriately and only when needed and something else couldn't work, it would be a 4-year lifespan.
It's like over $3 million for that box. It's 420
Uh-huh.
at least. Some change.
This
here or
single
there.
bar is worth 7,500 units.
No.
75,000? Was it 75,000? Sorry.
75,000.
75,000 units.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This single bar.
That's generational amounts in there.
We have enough to reestablish a colony completely.
Yes.
Y'all found it in an unmarked box?
Why would that be unmarked? Was that all that was in the box?
No.
Yep.
What did the box look like?
Box.
It really was.
It looked like every other box?
It was a box. It had a lock.
It was a box inside a crate. The crate would allow all the rest of the crates.
You said with a lock?
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna look at Quentin. And then, without saying another word, she's headed right to her office.
Okay, bye.
Now Skippy's looking at Quentin.
Everybody's looking at you.
Gwen,
Yeah.
When did you find a box?
That first loop that we remember, that spooked the heck out of me. Oh
Wait.
boy.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Along with your vehicle.
Yeah, sorry. Wait, shit, you can hear that? God damn it. Okay. Alright, well, keep playing. I'll just mute myself and talk when I need to.
We love you.
Love you too.
Nara is going to look for those drugs that Tane and Quentin brought her.
Like the good little golden retriever I was.
She wants to see if they're still in her office or if they would have disappeared like her patches kept refreshing.
Whew.
That's what she's looking for in her medical office, by the way.
Making your way back to the medical office. Yeah, you slide open the door to look for the pouch. It's not there.
This iteration had those.
And the last research paper that you had read, the last paper that had been released on the advancements of that technology, was that its primary use was to be focused in the area of medicine. However, it had shown other uses, specifically in the addition of repairing or shoring up machinery, metal, things like that. However, there is also talk of using them to, because of the nature of them, they can be shaped using a control method to be pretty much anything. So, like, it can actually form something if it was given the right parameters using a control method of some way.
Okay. By the way, she walked away with the 2 halves of the bar that she had in her hand.
Okay. All right. You
Just
are in
so
your
that
medical-
you guys know, she walked away with the bar in her hand.
You still have
That's why
your
I brought
bar.
a second one.
Yeah.
Just in case somebody.
All right. So you make your way back up there. You do not have the medicine. As soon as they leave, what were you two doing? Those who were remaining there in the engineering bay.
I guess
Quinn,
I was
did you
saying
leave?
everyone.
Were you staying? Okay.
Sorry.
So the 3 of you, what are you doing?
I'm grilling what you found in the box.
Well, I saw the box on that first loop. When we looked over the cameras, I saw it on the Gargoyle Bay feed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you go look inside?
Later, but it was the captain that I saw in the box.
So it's the captain's box. Did you? I didn't.
But when I went in the box, I didn't see that stuff.
What did you see?
Prescription drugs, basically. Well, like higher amounts of prescription drugs, but they were all unmarked. Well, there were boxes that were marked, but then there were baggies and stuff that wasn't marked.
Mm-hmm.
so
So we've got someone, potentially the captain, smuggling, but what they're smuggling varies from
Time to
iteration
time.
to iteration.
Did you guys go in the box?
so we checked the box.
And there were lots of drugs
We checked, and it was like cocaine,
and guns.
And guns.
guns, ballistics.
And satchel
We
charges.
went back to
I think
recheck
it's
it
better
just
with
now,
guns.
and it was
Satchel
just nana
charges.
stuff.
Well, we're not gonna reloop, so maybe this is what originally was in the box, or was supposed to be in the
Or
box.
just what we landed on, roulette wheel style.
Oh, what's in the wheel today?
Nanites.
Nanites. Next time it's gonna be
Cocaine. Oh, nana.
just a box of bananas.
Cocaine, cocaine, cocaine. Oh man, it's body parts from hookers again. Damn it.
That's weird.
You said she was an escort. No, when they're dead, they're a hooker.
We're really gonna make the Archer joke every week, aren't we?
Yep.
Some form of arch joke anyway.
Wait,
Captain's got some splaining to do.
It's got some explaining to do.
Nara's gonna get on the comms down to the engineering room and say, "They're gone!"
what?
The captain and
No, not Captain. Like, she's getting on the intercom to tell Quentin that what he had brought her is
I was
gone.
like, no. Okay, well,
Ty,
Which
in
means
the time
that
you've been gone,
whatever was in there, it was reset, and this has been happening consistently.
huh?
But we
Well,
haven't
the drugs are
reset,
gone.
so the drugs that you had found and brought to me for identification are no longer there.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
were they there other times?
No, Quentin had brought them to me, I think, 2 iterations ago. May have been last iteration. They get a little bit weird trying to remember which one was which.
Really?
Alright, look, it's because I,
say.
as a player, don't fucking remember.
Don't say.
They brought me drugs for identification, and
Because we're good friends!
Yes. Yes, Tane, because you're fantastic friends. And I looked them over and then put them in my office, and they're not there. So if the drugs are no longer in the crate that you found them in, that means they were... everything in that iteration is gone.
Yeah.
Or reset, as it were.
Yeah.
Tane, this
Gross.
entire
Mop
time,
it up.
the captain has not moved, has not shifted.
Did somebody at least dress her?
I tossed the blanket on her.
Great.
I grabbed my I don't know, like my jacket or something, and just
I mean, she's in the medical bay. She's probably, you have a blanket over her right now.
Yeah, I put a blanket on her before I went off to do what I needed to do.
oh snuggly.
She is not moved from that position.
Oh.
She is laying there just staring.
Is the orb still in here?
The orb, yeah, as far as you know, you haven't touched it, so it's invisible. So you don't know.
The all exalted orb.
Nara just snatched a wig.
Yeah, my scalp's really itchy. I probably need to wash my wig cap.
Good to know.
Are you sure?
No, it's sweat from wearing it, right? It's
Yeah, gotcha.
completely natural.
So, no drugs. Weird nanite bar. Captain.
This is the worst party ever.
No drugs, nanite bars instead. Dude, this is like having all of my drugs and alcohol replaced with juice pouches and fucking granola
Nothing
bars.
wrong with a good juice pouch.
Yeah, honestly, that sounds lit.
We're supposed to be having a rager.
It's not.
Capri Sun is integral to Ragers, you fool.
I thought I was dropping E. It was just a Tic Tac. My breath is minty fresh, but I'm not high at all.
God.
All right. Down in the engineering bay. What are you doing? Give me something to work with. You have this bar of what appears to be some sort of nanite material.
Let's go stick it on.
What?
You're breaking up on me.
Yeah, you're lagging on us a bit.
Can you hear me?
Kinda.
Eh.
Only kind of.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
Yeah, for some reason my Discord keeps spiking up high. I don't know what's going on. But I said let's go set the bar on the orb. Just see what happens.
We're gonna break off a piece of it. I think.
We don't want the
I had
orb
this
to eat it.
similar idea, but not. We're not gonna.
You're gonna Kit Kat bar this thing and lay a piece of it on there.
We got 420 of them.
That's
400
exactly what we're gonna do.
419.
Yeah, Nara took one.
All right, so you break off a piece of it.
That
And-
Kit Kat bar.
You lay it on top of the orb. You have your hand on the orb when you lay it on there.
Yes.
That slight vibration from the orb that you've always felt whenever you put your hand on there, you watch as the cube of material doesn't seem to melt, but seems to just kind of
Absorbed.
lay down. No, that's not absorbed.
I'll be home.
It
Well, I
kind of
can't-
lays down on top of the orb. It takes form of the orb.
I got it. Don't worry.
So it just sort of spreads out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like watching chocolate melt over on top of something. It just kind of.
Can I scoop it back up, so to speak?
You can certainly try.
I will do so.
You do so as you kind of bring your fingers over it. It's like grabbing sand. What little bit you have on your hand immediately forms together, but you realize with the way that it's pooled on there, you have to like kind of rake it or scoop it off
All right.
a little bit at a time. Taking time to do that. Is that what you want to do? Take the time to do that and scrape it all off?
No.
Okay.
We just leave it on there, see what happens.
Doesn't seem to have any effect on it. It's just laying there. I love how confused you are right now.
I'm stuck between like I don't want to just play with the ball the entire time, but like, oh, what happens if I do this? Does anything interesting happen?
Sometimes that's what you do. You spend an episode trying to figure out what the orb of questionable origin does.
Let's see. Now that's a bad idea.
There's no bad ideas, just untested theories.
Tossing a bar into
Hey, Tane.
tossing a bar into the reactor sounds like a bad idea.
Well, I'm glad that you can come to that determination.
Prior to doing it. Hey, our Marine is with us. Yay.
Hi, I have a pair of sunglasses because my eyes are dilated and they hurt a lot.
Oh.
Wait, your eyes hurt?
Yeah, like, have you ever gotten them dilated?
They
That's the
absorb a
And
bunch
then, like,
of light.
Not
Yeah,
really.
the light sensitivity.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
When your eyes are dilated, the receptacles for the light they're just on full blast, so it can.
It's like, I don't know if you can even see that, but it's like
that's,
big ol'
That's
eyes.
what it looks like.
Atlas has got them big old anime eyes right now.
The color in your eye is pretty much gone. You look like you're evil. Your eyes are these black holes, and this is like, okay.
I am become waifu.
Oh.
I have become waifu destroyer of panties. Anyways.
Jesus.
Wait, Atlas, that's just every day for you.
I wish.
Boom.
Someday.
Just 6 feet of raw lesbianic power.
Is that the term, lesbianic?
Yes, and if it wasn't before, it is now.
That sounds like a lesbian cyborg, and I'm about that.
Oh, I am a lesbian cyborg.
No, you're just the pattern that all of them were made from. That's
You're the
you are lesbian zero.
I am the lesbian Boba Fett. Which was the one that
No, it's because they had to clone perfection, Atlas.
Oh, that was smooth as silk. I'm just saying.
I love you.
Even I feel for you.
Alright, now that the Marine is back,
now that we got all that out of the way, back to the terror-inducing part of this.
Nara is going to get Tane caught up on what she has discovered, because he should be the first one she's reporting it to, because you're in charge of security and safety, bitch.
Do you want to tell me what that is, like, in character? Because I didn't watch the rest of the stream, because I was getting my eyeballs checked.
Did you catch the part where people were being incinerated?
I caught the first part where she checked the garbage, and then
people are
like,
okay,
the
so
missing
I
colonists
actually
have been incinerated.
Yeah, I actually went down, double-checked, found missing pieces. Now, I'm back in my medical office, and I'm checking the weight to see if all of the colonists were actually heavy enough to start the garbage incineration on their own. So if they were, over 150 pounds, right?
That was 110.
Well, somewhere around there, right? If they were heavy enough to start the incinerator on their own. Because the log showed no, how was it? There was no log of activation, so either it was wiped, or they were heavy enough to start it on their own. Like, basically, they were heavy enough to set it off.
Right, to like hit the pressure sensor.
The weight threshold.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a dog.
There's a
Well.
dog.
Puppy!
This is my boy Gomez. Gomez, look.
And this is where we lose Atlas.
We
We
lose
had them
Jack.
for so short.
Yeah. Atlas, we knew you for so little.
Just Gomez. No, I love him. I know. I died, but
Gomez.
it's fine because
Gomez,
oh my
Atlas loves
god, I
Do you
love
hear
you so
her? Do
much.
you hear them? No? Oh, she's just... Okay. Thank you. Ugh.
Okay.
Gomez is the only good creature that's ever walked the earth. Anyway.
Can't be on my desk, but I gotta go take him back upstairs.
So the people have been incinerated. The 45 missing colonists. Bringing this back to where it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, V. Oh,
Way to go!
10 out of 10, Atlas.
So
Lesbian Boba Fett
incineration.
right there.
Yeah. So we found teeth, somebody's retainer, a false tooth. I'm gonna be able to match up most of these colonists to what I found in there.
All right.
I can't-
That's a little.
Like I couldn't
fucked
get
up.
any of it out, but I could at least see it. So my working theory is that somebody is taking these colonists out of their pods, dragging them to a garbage chute, or doing something nefarious with them beforehand, and then incinerating their remains.
I remember when we had that flashback thing about. Wait a second, is Nate in the room with us?
No, it's just you. It's
Thank
me
God.
and the comatose captain.
All right.
Catatonic.
Okay, cool. Back when I had that flashback, I don't know if you saw it too, but there was something about Name getting in trouble with the captain for doing some kind of unethical experiments or something to that degree. Do you think that has anything to do with any of this?
It might. He would be the only one capable of wiping a system and leave no trace behind.
Well,
But
that's
I can't think
not
of any
all that
motivation
endearing.
as to why he would want to do that. I can't think of any motivation of why he would want to do that.
Well, all I can think of is that he doesn't seem to do a lot of things with much reason, and maybe it's just because I don't know what he's doing, but he
Just
seems
called you
to
out.
do things.
Just like that.
He does things for the sake of science. I don't know if maybe there's a more logical explanation than that, but sometimes I've seen him do things that don't really seem to be very scientific. Again, what do I know?
You know a goddamn lot, okay?
That's the first time I'll ever hear that. And
know.
probably the last.
Probably
Alright,
not.
not the first time. It's happened before, but anyways.
Alright, like, I gotta double check to make sure that their weight either could or could not. Want to make sure that what I saw matched up to what I have on medical records, because then if I have solid proof, then we need to wake up the captain, and we need to figure out what's going on. Because there is a chance that maybe Nain is not responsible for this at all.
I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying we ought to keep it in mind.
And of that, I am in complete agreement. The only person I can absolutely vouch for that isn't doing this is Quentin. Because let's be honest, he's just not strong enough to carry them.
Listen here.
Yeah.
Listen here, pal.
Listen here, pal.
I kept telling him to eat his protein and he wouldn't, so that's
Oh
his
my
business.
god, I know, right?
I'm gonna fight
Trying to
both
get
of
him to
y'all.
do anything.
It's pathetic. He never wants to do anything on the arm machines either.
Oh god, you got him to a gym?
Yeah? He didn't tell you?
I tried for months!
Every
The rest of
month.
the episode just boils down to you two just adding Quentin, pretty much.
Now listen.
Quentin, you're not here to defend yourself. Shut
I'm
up.
not.
All right.
Anyway,
While these two biddies talk about their friend,
I hear my
Down-
ears are
down with
ringing.
people-
My
yeah,
nose
you're-
is itchy.
like,
Yeah, you're like,
just shiver up
What's
your spine.
What's
Um,
going on?
Engineer, Ensign, Navigator, what are you doing? The orb seemed to cause the nanite bar to melt.
Well, I don't like that orb, so I'm not going near it. Straight to the beginning of the.
I'm gonna
Let's do it now.
get on the
I just
Intercom
picture you, like looking through the
up
door.
to
Like, just-
medical.
okay.
So I realize, ping, Nara, like, hey, would these bars presumably help the captain? Should we like do something with that? Is that a thing?
The captain is currently suffering from mental instability. I don't feel comfortable doing that kind of stuff when, even with our advanced technology, the brain is not completely mapped out, and you can severely hurt somebody doing that.
Okay.
We'll come out of it on our own, and if she doesn't, I'll just start slapping her until she does.
Medicine!
You doing
Sometimes-
medicine the same way that Nane does science?
No, it's because okay, look, when somebody's in a comatose state, sometimes application of force is actually what snaps them out of it.
Catatonic, yes.
Heroes never die! Whap!
Just beating the shit out of your captain.
We
It's
walk
great.
in, you're like sitting on her chest, like.
That's the singlish stuff.
Wake up!
I guess that'd be better than walking in and just watching, like, caressing the face gently.
Wake up, Captain.
You're awkwardly
It's
applying
time to
lipstick
wake-
to your mouth.
Wake up, Captain.
Somebody looks in at you, you just look over and go.
Everyone's just like,
They just back out, close the door slowly.
the door just slides.
The whole time you're just looking at it as it's closed.
It's like, yes.
All right, so
No.
as we easily get derailed, the answer I believe was that this isn't medically going to assist the captain.
Yeah.
The captain is in a catatonic state.
Oh, and before I forget, the way
Don't
that
do
you
anything
would
stupid.
activate these bars, you would break off a small portion of what you need, and then you would set it on a plate that would vibrate to spread it out, and then you would only take what you need and insert it into the patient where it needs to be.
Wait, what happens when you put it on the plate?
The plate
Say that?
vibrates and it activates the nanites.
Yeah, it has
Okay.
a resonance.
It's
the plate has
a
resonance
certain
to it.
it's a certain vibration frequency. It'll expand based on any vibration, but there's a certain frequency that'll activate it.
Do you know a situation in which the bar would sort of melt like chocolate?
Did you put it
Is it
on
the-
the fucking ball?
Hello.
Possibly.
The good news is he's still talking to you, so he's not dead.
The ball vibrates, right? If I'm remembering that correctly from when I was sitting on it.
Has a slight hum
Slight
to it.
vibration.
Yes.
Yes.
You
So
shut up.
So whenever you set it on this vibration, it would actually go out as if it was, I guess, as you described it, melting chocolate.
Okay.
So it's doing what it's intended. Please gather it all back up off the fucking ball.
That's
That is a lot of
Difficult.
medical equipment in that little square. Do not
But
waste
wha-
it.
we'll get on that. Yes.
He goes up to the mess hall to get turkey.
Yeah, I need to
A spatula.
get a dustpan.
Paper
Do the
towel.
little, do
One of the
Paper
the paper towel.
Paper towel.
Sorry,
Paper towel.
sorry. Oh,
Go to the
sorry,
shop, just
so sorry. I just have a picture of after a while, Skippy's just watching you. He's just got the data pad turned on the camera, and he's just.
But But no, so
This will be great when we get to the colony.
on top of that, I have somewhere, I think, the activation codes for them. At least for medical purposes.
You probably wouldn't, honestly.
No? Oh no, that's right, they'd be different per...
Well, that and the fact that you wouldn't have had any on your ship, so you wouldn't have known.
Right.
You wouldn't have had reason to be handed
Would
in.
I have used them before?
No, more your knowledge of them is more just the research that's
Gotcha.
done on them.
Okay.
And that.
So there is a specific activation code to actually get them to work. What you're seeing is just the basics of keeping it in a usable state when it's just in the cubes. So whenever you saw me break the cube in half and it flushed itself over, that was just it maintaining its closed shape. But there was an activation code for it.
Yeah, what you remember is that, or what you remember through the research papers that you have read over, is that, like a remote-controlled vehicle, there is a control module or a set of pre-designed parameters that can be programmed in that whenever it's linked to those particular ones, it will function upon. So, you ever played with like the Lego Connects, I think is what it's called, where you can actually take the Legos and then program in what they do and then they take action?
Yes.
It works like either that, or you can literally guide it using the same program, but like a real-time hands-on thing. So you're actually remote controlling it.
Right.
So it has one of two things. It can either be pre-programmed to do something, or it can be controlled remotely.
So she'll explain that both properties with examples on how it's been used before. So some patients who had constantly growing but non-lethal cancer tumors would have these nanites if they could afford them, and they were programmed that every time these cancerous cells showed up in a certain quantity, they would go destroy them. Where the other ones that were controlled was if you were doing a major surgery and it was a very spine cut, you would inject them and then use the controls to go to that spot, do the repair, and then either flush it out of the system or leave it in the system with the programming then altered to repair if needed.
So, the other thing that they've been known to do is, because they are so small, is they have been known to bridge connections between nerve ending and prosthetics. Much like your own. Carbon fiber left hand.
Do you have any feeling in that arm?
No.
Would you like feeling in that arm?
It doesn't provide feeling. It bridges it's a synapse only. So it only controls movement, motor control, things like that.
Or would you like smoother communication between your arm and your brain?
Just smear it all over your metal arm right now.
That is. No, don't do that.
Rubbing it on like lotion. He's just got the bar. He's applying it like a sun stick.
We'd have to find the activation code, Nain. But if you find the activation code, I can do it.
We could go look around inside the box. Maybe it was written in lid or something.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's go do that.
Okay.
I mean, presumably, like, if there's all this, the code's got to be somewhere.
You would think that, unless it's in our catatonic captain.
Or whoever's waiting on this crate on the other side has got it.
Yeah, presumably, yeah.
But you think you'd send the activation code on the off chance that the other ones didn't make it. But hey, that's just me and my way of thinking. Anyway, I have stuff to finish checking up on, so Find that
Yeah, let's
activation
go-
code, and I can get you a better connection between your arm and your brain.
We've got more gossip to catch up.
I'm gonna go back to the medical bay. No. Actually,
Your ears are burning.
my ears are burning. I hate this. I'm going to the medical bay.
All right, back to the cargo bay, I guess.
Okay, so Quentin, where are you going? Literally,
I will go back to the medical bay. Actually,
you are going back to the medical bay. Okay.
yeah, I will actually
And
go
then-
back to the medical bay.
Science bros are heading back down to the cargo bay.
Science
Make
bros.
your way back down. You open up the crate once more, and inside are the
Science,
rest
bro.
418 bars that you had left in the
Anything
hole.
written on the lid?
Nothing written on the inside of the lid. No.
I like how it was one short of 420.
No, there is
There was
420.
actually 420.
There were 420 of them.
I think actually the math was incorrect.
That's
Come on! I've put cocaine. I have put
Prescription drugs.
prescription drugs. Come on! You think I'm gonna miss the opportunity to make one
No.
more drug reference?
Atlas, there is 420 bars in there. Nane has one. I have the other.
So there are 418 in there.
In the crate, yeah.
He presented it as like 35 times 19 or
The way I did it was this: that it's 35 by 17.
By 12.
17.
No, yeah,
What?
35 by 12.
35 by 12. Thank you. 12
I have the
layers.
math.
35.
God bless you, Cap. You're the hero Gotham deserves.
I'm Fat Man. I'll just constantly walk around going, I know how to fix it. I just can't. And then I force feed everybody donuts. All right, so you are back in there. You open the crate up. You're looking inside. You don't see anything on the lid of the box.
Dig through the bar, see if there's a note or something.
Start taking them out and stacking them up. About midway down on the inside of it, you see a plastic sheath, clear plastic sheath. With inside of it, you see what appears to be a piece of paper, but it's not. It doesn't look like paper. It looks like a plastic inside of a clear plastic thing, like a packing slip. You know, inside of the plastic that you can see the packing slip through. It looks like that. But as you tear it open, do you tear it open to take that out?
Yeah.
You tear it open and take it out. It's like a piece of filament, or not filament, but like a piece of film. So it has like the properties of like a thin sheet of plastic or something. Not saran wrap, so it sticks to something, but like a really thin sheet of plastic that has some density or just a little bit of thickness to it to keep some form. And you can see on it written what appears to be, well, Nane would recognize it as coding parameters. So like it's actually like coding language that's written out.
Nane, can you tell what this is supposed to do?
Give me yep, you can give me electronics. Give me electronics roll. No modifier. You don't need one. Yeah, this is actually it's an open source coding. It's an let me rephrase this the way that I need to. This is the activation for an open source coding that allows you to then create parameters based off an if-then statement. Basically, this is the keystone for a coding language. Having this allows you to then rewrite the rest of the program to do any format that you want it to be in.
So they could use it for medical, they could weaponize it, they could do just about anything.
They can do just about anything with it.
Huh. Cool. All right, so we got the code. We got what we came for.
Mhm.
Sounds like. Put that away safely. And guess we'll head up to Medbay as well. Now I can have my super cyborg arm.
Then you're a real experiment.
Turn that shit into Iron Man, but just right here.
Well, it makes
You
a
head
Misty
back
Dyke.
Okay. Which way are you heading now? You heading back up to the medical bay or to the engineering bay?
Med.
Med bay?
Med.
Med. Okay.
Medical.
All right. Quentin, you have arrived already at the med bay.
Just slide into the door. You
Alright.
talking shit? No.
Nara and Tane are kind of having a good conversation, it looks like.
Shooting
The
the
captain
shit.
is lying there still, catatonic.
Y'all are like laughing and having a
So
good
there
time while the captain's like unconscious, and I'm just like, is everything
There was this
okay?
one time that, oh, hey guys! Captain,
They're sipping tea. They're using the captain as the table.
Yeah. It's just sitting.
on the
Actually-
captain's stomach.
Actually, during that time, if they were talking and they had been talking about Quentin, Nara would have admitted the fact that she had known Quentin her whole life. And some of his family members. And then would have showed Tane the photo that she stashed in her desk.
You see Nara in a wedding gown. A handsome man in a tuxedo who looks. You see some similarities between Quentin and
You
the
got
man.
married to Quentin?
No, he's taller
No.
taller than Quentin.
Oh, alright.
Much taller
No,
than
no,
Quentin.
no.
Alright, I see that now.
I almost got married to his brother.
Ah. Gotcha.
And as the door opens, but I'm gonna tell you about that later.
Slam! Shoot!
Y'all talking shit?
At which point, like during their conversation, she would have still been working, just checking the weights of the 45 that are missing, and cross-referencing those who had retainers versus false teeth, stuff that she actually would have had access to with the medical records.
This is fishy, implying that anybody would wear their retainer long enough to have it in cryosleep.
Yeah, but some dental stuff takes a while to fix, Atlas.
I mean, I'm supposed to still be wearing my retainer. I gave it up like 3 months after I got my brace.
What a better time to use it than when you're going to be cryo-slept for years.
A millennia.
Fair enough. But wait, if you're cryo-sleeping and there's no, like, metabolic changes in your body, then what's the point in doing the teeth? Because then your gums
Okay,
won't heal as they're rearranged.
hang on.
Okay,
let me
that's fair. I never had
explain.
a retainer, I don't know.
Let me explain this one to you, just because I know what you're saying, but I actually have a condition that if I was in cryosleep, it would fix it. One of my teeth is actually slightly back because it grew in behind. Oh my god, everybody's sitting so fucking still. I think everybody's cameras froze. Sorry. One of my teeth grew in behind one of my baby teeth. My baby tooth took a very long time to fall out. So
Oh, yeah,
one
yeah,
of my
yeah.
adult teeth is actually pushed back. And it's cosmetic
Okay,
work.
yeah.
It's cosmetic work. It's just to make my smile prettier.
Okay.
But I would have to wear a retainer with a rod attached to it to push that tooth back into place.
Okay. And I mean, not that this is important. I know, like, this is a goofy conversation to be having. But what I was saying is that if cryosleep halts all metabolic changes to ensure that you don't age or
it
have
doesn't
any
halt
kind
them.
of like.
It doesn't halt them. Keep in
Okay.
mind. You
So
are
it
not
just-
you are not at 0 degree Kelvin. You are just it is extremely retarded. It is extremely slowed down or abated.
Okay, so we technically do like age kind of.
Yeah.
But even then,
Yeah.
I feel like as long as it's really slowed, I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
It's your stride,
So-
your regular stride as Atlas versus
Yeah.
watching a worm crawl. Eventually, the distance will be made, but
Right, but not in the same.
it's
amount of time.
Yeah, the time that it takes is grossly
So then,
different.
yeah, actually, you're right. It would make sense because if we're in there for thousands of years or hundreds of years,
It's
then
the
it would at
best
least
time
be,
to
like,
get those sort of
a
things
solid
done.
like month and
Yeah.
a half of yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Exactly.
I'd be matching up those, and I'm assuming they match to some of the 45 that are missing.
Yes, they do.
And how much do each of those 45 weigh? Enough to trigger the
Go
Go through
incinerator.
the whole list.
I went through all 45 to to check their weight to see if it
No,
will be
no,
enough
I
to
want
trigger.
Cap to go through the whole list.
I'm not gonna make him go through the whole list.
I
We have
wanna
a half
hear-
hour left.
I want to hear how much my favorite YouTuber weighed.
How much your favorite YouTube star weighed?
Yeah,
She weighed 127 pounds.
she needs to eat.
She was small.
She's dead, so
Doesn't
like.
necessarily mean
Was it enough to trigger the incinerator?
alone. Yes, it was.
Okay.
The average male on there, looking at it, was around 185 to 200 pounds, depending on height. So, like, you looking at different
the guys
heights.
definitely would have triggered on their own.
Any of the women all weighed over like I think the lightest one was
Looks up average weight for
no. I'm looking at my notes
Has
because
my list of every.
Oh,
you've never played with me until now.
Yeah.
Would anyone who has ever played with me like to inform how much I do in notes?
I kind of guessed. I can figure by like this one right here.
I bet you he has an Excel spreadsheet done up with each of these characters' information: height, weight, gender, names, what pod they're in. You do, don't you?
He's not saying.
He's not
Maybe.
saying no.
Well, not confirm nor deny how big a geek he is.
I'm not gonna out myself on how far down the rabbit hole I go for each.
Oh, we
So
love
B,
it,
he has an
though.
Excel spreadsheet with all of that information.
Okay, so her name is Ishibaru Hirami, and she weighed 110 pounds.
It's a 100-pound minimum to activate the incinerator, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they were all
We're the
within the weight to activate the incinerator, which means that you don't need
And
to.
just so you know, Harami was one of the like I think she was the third one. I didn't write down the order, but
How dare you? How dare you? We were counting on that, Cap.
Okay. Okay, so
It's gonna be our ace in the hole.
alright, so it didn't have to be activated, which means that while Nane is not completely free and clear based on your former memory, there is a lot more doubt. Because these didn't need to be activated on their own. Like, these didn't have to be activated by somebody.
So nobody necessarily wiped
All right.
wiped
And
the
you're saying
memory.
so you're saying that these people just went and walked right into the incinerator then?
Oh, no. Somebody actually carried them there. Somebody either did something to them and carried them there, or for whatever godforsaken reason, pulled them out of cryosleep and just stuck them in the incinerator. I am not sure which is what is going on, but we haven't lost anybody since we broke the cycle.
All right.
So, yeah, I have no idea. Somebody is pulling them out. Somebody or something.
I'm here for this conversation, right? I have walked in at this point.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're talking about murders. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about murder.
Yeah, we're talking about murders. And
We're talking about murders up in here.
Like
They could have died of natural causes and been thrown away.
Didn't want.
No,
You know.
I checked every single one of them, and none of them died of natural causes. There was no issues with their cryopods. They were pulled from their cryopods. I checked that in one of the very first episodes.
Are science bros here yet, or is it just us?
They are probably right behind you.
Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna say shit.
Oh,
no, they're
shit.
not in there yet. As you walk in, you've got a minute or two before they walk in behind you.
Okay, thank God.
Because they went down. You went up there to the medical bay. They went down
Well,
back
they
to the
went to the
cargo
cargo.
bay. So you have a few minutes.
I
Yeah.
have a couple minutes. Was I there in time to kind of hear Tony bring up his memories with the confrontation to Nain
Uh-huh.
If you, even if you weren't, I would let you know.
reappear. So I'm not the only one that's had odd memories about Nain then, because I had a confrontation memory as well. And he had blood on his
Oh.
hands.
Like literal blood, not just the expression, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not fantastic.
No, I remember my memory was literally running away from him while he had blood on his hands and he was being confronted by, I feel like it was the ensign and captain, but it could have been Tane. I can't remember for the life of me for that, but 2 people were confronting him, and I don't know much other than that because that's all.
Mhm. That's concerning.
Like I said, he's not entirely ruled out, but there's a lot of doubt because we have no proof.
Right.
And your memories are all fine and dandy, but let's also remember that you didn't remember them until when?
Touch the damn orb.
Till you touch the orb.
Not touching that again.
And
No.
I don't have those memories. I don't have any memories whatsoever of a confrontation. All of my memories stem from before I even got on the damn ship.
All of your memories are memories you already have.
They were memories
What does
I
that
remembered.
mean?
They were memories I already knew.
Nara was created on the ship. We invented humans.
Are you even real?
We performed alchemy's greatest taboo.
Alright, look, if you created me with a drug addiction, I hate all of you.
Hey, Marvel's created some of the best heroes, and they have flaws.
Okay,
Just
yes, but why would you create
I would
somebody
say
with
most
a drug
good-
addiction? Of all the
Let me-
addictions, you create a
let me
medical
in-
officer with the drug addition.
Let me introduce you to Roy Harper, who
That's
is
pretty- You
who
ever
is
watch House? Or
Oh, my boy.
remember Speedy in the 70s in that whole Arrowverse there, he had a drug addiction, and it was the Green Arrow's whole job to get him out of that.
It's your boy Arsenal.
I mean, Tony Stark is constantly battled with drug and alcohol dependency in all the
This is true.
comics.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
No, I mean, yes, but why would, if you created me,
They intentionally didn't want you to be a Mary Sue, okay?
you know what I mean?
we had to nerf you.
Sorry about it.
They were thinking about a limp originally, but it just didn't make sense. They couldn't explain the
Yeah.
story. They couldn't agree on it. And finally, they just went, drug habit, fine!
I was really vouching for like unruly hair or something, but no one was
just... There's
I mean,
that
the pink
one
tips
cowlick
made it
that
into it,
never
but, like-
No,
wants
but
to lay
see,
down.
you did get your unruly hair. I have pink tips.
Okay, but that's not unruly. That's just like rebellious. Unruly
Rebel!
is I took time for a day and
Rebel
it
the
never
power.
worked.
All right.
That
So
was because you
anyway,
don't like drawing
and
straight hair.
Yeah, let's go.
Fuck anything straight. Especially not my drawings of hair.
Okay. You make it back up to the medical bay with the film and the coating. You hand it over to Nar.
Yeah.
You know what it is. You have no idea how to enter it into the computer or how to make it work.
Okay, name? I've never actually worked with this before.
Right. Yes.
I have read a lot of medical journals on it, but of course the medical journals don't go into how it actually works because they don't want the science exploited.
So you're like, I can do this, and then he shows up. You're like, well, I might fail, but
So
Too soon. Too soon.
what I need you,
Informs consent.
what I'm gonna need you to do is I'm gonna need you to explain this coding, and I can explain to you what the medical equivalent is and what it's gonna do.
Okay. So
Because, and I'm
Estimated
gonna tell you this because I worked in a hospital where this was used. I just never used it myself, and I never had a need to. because I was dealing with the psychology department. This had a technician, and it was their job to set it up. And they worked with the doctor to make sure that it was going in the right places. It was a 2-man job, so I will need you to do the coding, and I will explain the medical jargon.
Okay.
And
Fair.
then we will take a very small portion of it. I'm going to inject it with a saline solution into your shoulder, and then we will control it from there to reconnect your nerve endings.
You can finally play ping pong.
And you can finally play ping pong with your dominant hands.
Your left hand no longer is just kung fu grip.
Alrighty.
I need you to give me an electronics roll once more so that you can enter in this code.
Name the ultimate Rock'em Sock'em robot.
You program in the open part.
Oh.
That's easy enough. You're just copying data from one side to the other. Now, I'm going to allow Nara to give me a medical roll. I will give you before you roll, I will let you have a modifier of 1 for synergy because you have him programming it in. Okay. You program it. Like giving him the instructions, you actually write the coding that you need. I would like for you to give me one more electronics check, please. Again, I will allow you synergy, so you'll have a +1 modifier on there. All right. You finish up the coding, and to the particulars that you need. Now, unfortunately, this isn't something that you just automatically. This isn't Swordfish where you're typing and then hacking happens. This takes several hours for you guys to input this information and to make sure that you have it properly there.
Considering that it's beneficial to the entire team to have Nain actually having full functionality of his arm, they're going to do that. She'll kind of like shoo everybody else out of her medical bay so that they can work in quiet.
With the passed out captain still on the table?
Well, I have more than one table. It's a medical bay.
I know. Just asking if she's still there.
This isn't a cheap clinic on the south side. What are you talking about? This is a fully realized step. Yeah. She's still laid out catatonic on the table. On one of the beds, I should say. Not the table.
So her and Nain are working. She's kind of got one of the tables like lifted up, so he's actually sitting on the table, and she has a table like moved, like one of the medical trolleys over next to him and raised up, like the ones that you have for food when you're sitting on the bed. She's got one of those up so that he can work while he's sitting on the table. And she's kind of walking around giving him the medical information that he needs to code, while she collects what she needs to properly deal with the nanites.
Nain, this is not like writing a program to function a swing arm. This isn't like programming anything that you've done before, because you're blending, two sides of this. You're blending the medical in with the electronics, and the computer side. The nuances within the open sourcing are there, and you're familiar with it. It's not written in some new foreign language. It's a language you understand. It's just the fact that it's such an interesting combination. It's outside of your field of expertise. However, given some of the background that you have and the things that you were trying to achieve on your own, I'm going to let you give me one more electronic roll. And what I'd like for you to do is on this electronics roll, I would like for you to go ahead and take a modifier of 1. But understand that the difficulty on this is really high. Okay? So go ahead and give me a roll.
Also, hi, Jack.
The captain has been raised from the dead.
Okay. As far as you can tell, you have programmed this in according to everything that Nara has directed you to do.
Nara is
So-
going to do one last check. She's going to consult her own medical books, make sure that she got every important nerve that would control motor movement
Mm-hmm.
to the arm, make sure that it matches up on the synapses for not only
It-
his, like,
yeah.
make sure that everything matches up and that everything is going to do it. And she kind of just glances over his shoulder, making sure that
Mhm.
she finds each one. Just kind of making sure there's no errors.
Advancements in technology have progressed far enough from where they are today to where they are in the game that cognitive roadmaps of nerve endings and how they function and operate are easy enough to get a hold of. And looking at where they are and programming them on the point that they should be, give me a medical check. I'll allow you the +1 as well.
I just don't want to screw Pelka over. Yeah!
Whoa.
Yeah, you are right on point. You have covered every one of the major nerve endings that you need for motor function within that arm. So, according to both of you, you are, as far as you know, good to proceed with this experiment on one of your primary crew members.
Okay. She's gonna slice off a very thin,
That wasn't ominous sounding at all, was it?
she's gonna slice off a very thin piece of the block.
Okay.
And then she's going to set it in a tray on the table, and then tell Nane to use his arm to vibrate the table.
Uh-oh, Nane's gone.
As we
Yeah.
lose Nane on cam.
When she was like, "Oh, good roll" or whatever, everything froze for me. So I was like, "What did you roll?" Oh shit!
She rolled a 17.
I was
Yeah.
one off. I was one off from a perfect roll.
Pretty good.
Oh, okay.
You,
So basically, you're gonna vibrate the table to activate them, and then we're
Part
gonna
of
use
the-
the code to. You're gonna. Okay. You need to make this a liquid state, so you need to make it so that I can actually do something with it in a saline solution.
All right.
So to do that, you have to vibrate the plate, which means you're gonna have to vibrate the table with your arm, because you gotta.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put saline solution on the plate, and I'm just going to use a syringe to draw that solution in with the nanites in it,
Uh-huh.
and then we're gonna go to town. But you have to activate them before they touch your skin. So you have to hit the activation code. I will tell you when I'm ready. Once you activate it, then we have to start actually doing the coding at the same time.
okay.
Which is basically just making sure each of them is firing off and sending back the signal that it's connected.
Hell yeah.
You hit enter and run the executable that you've created for this. You put your hand down on the tray to try to find. You don't have a haptic feedback on your hand, so it's not like you can make it vibrate like a. You don't make it vibrate at will. It's an inanimate object. You'd have to find something that would actually cause a vibration that would basically liquefy it. His
His
carbon
hand's not
fiber
going to do it.
hand.
Okay.
His carbon fiber hand doesn't have that quality or property to do that.
Do I have something I can hit the
What do you
table
mean
with?
he can't make his arm vibrate? Like, that's a design flaw.
Is there,
I mean,
It doesn't have
you can
multiple settings.
shake it like you could, but
is there something I can hit the table with?
A hammer.
your hand.
Smack, 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 smack.
Can we
Actually,
just
sorry,
get everyone
is,
else
there,
to just.
is there a centrifuge in my medical bay?
Yes, there is.
She's going to take the plate with the nanite on it. She is going to go put it on top of the centrifuge and turn the centrifuge on.
It takes you working
It's
the
like
dial.
microwaving it.
Yeah.
She didn't stick it in the
Microwave.
she didn't stick it in the centrifuge. She stuck it on top of it because the centrifuge will actually it shakes.
You open the latch on the
better.
centrifuge and then close it, and then you put the tray on top of it. You using the dial to try to find the right frequency, you finally see where it starts to hum at that perfect resonance that it melts down.
Okay. Then I'm going to put saline solution over top of it, inject the nanites into the syringe, and then move back over to Nain and politely ask him to take his shirt off.
Hold on. I feel like I missed some pretty important shit.
Oh yeah,
Are
no,
we injecting people?
they
Yeah.
go way back.
You're injecting people with nanites.
That sounds like an awful idea.
I think it's fantastic.
But I'm catatonic, so you know
The
what? Go
captain
for it.
wakes up and is immediately like, "Don't fucking inject!"
I just snap out of it. What the fuck did you guys do?
Captain can't say anything, but you look over and there are just tears pouring out of her eyes.
I'm unconscious. I'm awake.
You're catatonic, so you're staring at the ceiling. You're just like,
Wait, she's
Oh,
had
yeah,
her
something's
eyes
up.
open the whole time.
yeah.
That's fucking creepy as hell.
What do you guys not understand about catatonic? It is not conscious.
Listen.
Alright, can me and the science bro do the thing now, please?
Sure.
Now you're the
All
science
right.
bros.
You got 6 minutes. Go.
You inject the nanites in, and the executable program runs. You give it a few flexes, and your brain tells your hand to do this. Your fingers respond. There's no delay, not even the millisecond delay that there was.
Ooh, bitch.
You're doing this right here.
You're a black screen for me, but I trust I'm doing something awesome.
You are touching your thumb to your pinky, then your ring finger, then middle finger, then index finger, and doing that over and over again. Just like what Tane's doing. If you can see Tane's
Yeah.
like that.
I can flip coins between my fingers.
Your carbon fiber hand reacts. It
Like a
doesn't have
hand.
any feeling, but it reacts the same responsive time that your normal hand does.
You can now play the piano again.
Finally, his dreams have come true. Of being a
Professional pianist.
virtuoso. Yeah.
Cyborg pianist.
Marilyn. You've been hearing everything that's going on. Every conversation in the room, every voice. You can't say anything. You're locked in place. You're screaming. You're yelling at them. You're telling them.
Cut this stupid shit out right now.
But nothing's happening.
Fuck you.
You are not so much there as you are a passenger within your own body. You remember them picking you up, but it wasn't like you felt them touching you. It's like you just kind of saw it happening. Like watching Hardcore Henry.
Oh.
You see
Well, that's
everything
wild.
that happens, but you don't actually feel anything. You are playing over the details in your mind. You remember the last reset? When you awoke, you weren't anywhere, and you were trying for the life of you to remember what happened. You remember seeing the swirling mass of lights and color, and then you remember being in this state. It's as though anytime you try to grab onto any tangible part of your memory at that moment where you were not there, but there, it eludes you. It runs from you. It slips through your grasp like water or wisps of wind. You look over, your eyes not really moving, but out of the periphery you see Nain with his bionic arm moving in a way that it hasn't before. It seems like his motion and full capabilities. There's no delay. There's none of that. It seems like it works in and of its own accord.
Oh, wow.
And for the first time that you can recall,
You've been staring at the ceiling. Your eyes blink.
Oh, thank God.
My eyes are no longer dry.
It like
Nara,
comes out slurred because her mouth is not on
you're
it.
watching
Oh my
Nain,
God.
but out of the corner of your eye, you see the captain. There's almost an imperceptible movement as you watch her eyes blink.
Well, Nain, let me know if anything happens with that arm, if you lose functionability or something else.
No.
If there's any sort of ill effects, you need to tell me immediately.
Nain, as you are looking at your hand, it's amazing. You haven't had this level of functionality out of it since it was a real hand there.
Hell yeah.
And as you look around the room, you don't see anything, but you get the sense that you are connected to the ship on a different level.
You and the ship are like
this.
You're like this.
And there's
You're like that.
Like this.
there's a voice that you hear, a robotic tinny voice. Syed Alpha Sanain Collinson, how may I be of assistance? You look around and it doesn't seem as though anybody else has heard anything. And that's what we're going to call it tonight.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for joining us. For everybody who is out there watching, I really appreciate you guys coming along. If you would, we'd love for you to follow us. Give us a subscribe if you can here on Twitch, especially if you have Twitch Prime. Hey, it doesn't cost anything. Free sub. Your continued support only makes our quality better, and we can afford new things.
Cool
and when I
new stuff.
get off my ass, we'll get a new map up here of the actual ship. But every time I go, yeah, I want to talk to Atlas about that. I don't. I would like to say that something else comes up, but it's just me going, oh shit. Sorry.
Oh yeah, fuck.
I would like to thank Atlas as Tane. I would like to thank Jack, who is playing Captain Maryland. Maddie, who is playing our medical officer Nara. And Jason, who is playing our ensign Skippy. V, who is playing our navigator Quentin. And Pelka, who is playing our science officer Nain. Thank you guys. It's been fun. Again, I want to apologize for last week. I felt it better where we were at just to go ahead and miss an episode. But tune in on Monday as we take you from science fiction to fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And all the weird and wonderful things that happen there in the foundations of Adalar. We are on episode 26 coming up this coming Monday. And we'll be back again next Wednesday for more what the hell is going on in space with Alone in the Void. Thank you all, one and all. You guys have a great night. Take care of each other until we see you again.